Welcome to our Rolemaster Actual play session. Twilight of the Old Order is a campaign set in the world of Duyranaki, the continent of men. In this gritty, cutthroat world, politics, religion, and commerce are all intertwined and reign supreme. Characters need to be both smart and ruthless to survive. We hope you enjoy our story, and, as always, may the dice roll in your favor. This is episode 164 of Twilight of the Old Order. The Twilight Party have emerged from the long-forgotten underground complex and are planning their next move. Our story resumes with our heroes back in the safe house in Ras Garrett after several uncomfortable days in the cells, debating their future plans. Hello, my name is Chris, alternatively known in this game and on this channel as GM Chance, and it's my great pleasure to welcome you to our story today. The story that we're telling using the fantastic 1980s tabletop role-playing system called Rolemaster is Twilight of the Old Order. There are 6 characters in play today, and those are images of each one of the characters. And a bit later on, we'll be naming those characters after we hear a little bit from each one of the player of those characters. Before we do that, before we move on to a series of questions that I send out earlier in the week to kind of tweak people's interests in their particular character and get them thinking a little bit more about how their character might react to a situation in their past or something that's come up in the game or whatever. Our regular thanks to all of the people that follow us online, the people that provide some really nice comments, suggestions, people that are interested in the rules and how we handle the rules in this particular game. Rolemaster, I used the phrase sprawling just before I clicked record when chatting to the players, and it is a sprawling system. It's had many additions over the years, and the premise of Rolemaster is based on choosing optional rules. So there is a lot that you can choose from. So those that just thank you for those that take an interest in what we're doing and are curious about the rules that we play in this game. What we would say to anybody that's enjoying the stories that we tell, the systems that we use, perhaps, and maybe you've come across us once or twice and you've enjoyed 1 or 2 episodes, but you haven't taken the plunge, you haven't spent a couple of seconds down below with your mouse, we really would appreciate either a like or even much better, a subscribe. It really does help both the channel grow and for other people like you that are interested in this kind of content, for them to find us too. A couple of seconds from you really does mean a lot to us. Really appreciate it. Thanks very much. Okay, so look, as mentioned before, earlier in the week, I will send out a series of questions, just a bunch of queries out to the players to help them dissect a bit more about the character that they're playing in this game. And tonight, it's actually we're playing on an afternoon for a change. Today, we are starting off with Giles. Giles, take it away, please.
Thanks, Chris. So I'm playing Yotto, and before I do anything, just a big up to Anthony, who's Eskel's controller, who's very helpfully run 2 warrior mages over the last couple of sessions. So thank you for your support, Anthony. So I'm going to answer 2 questions for Yotto, one kind of primarily and the other one which is a bit orthogonal. And the question is, how does your character cope with loss? So Yoto's a grey elf. He's had some pretty significant losses in his life. He's also a kind of a loose follower of Dio. And I think if you asked him to describe how he coped with loss, he'd like to say with equanimity. So that's kind of his view of himself. He travels light. He doesn't carry much stuff with him. He's been on his own for a long time. He kind of minimises the risks of losses. So he doesn't really think loss is a massive one. But if he was to see one particular character, which some people might know of, related to the loss of his parents, I think everything would go pear-shaped for him objectively. And that relates to the question, what does your character believe is worth dying for? And in this very little kind of slice of his life, the answer probably would be revenge on balance. And with that, I'll pass over to said support, excellent warrior mage controller, Anthony.
Lovely, thanks.
Right, and for Askell, I'm going to answer the question, what's the most forbidden knowledge your character has sought out? So this is actually quite a tricky one for him. It's about how to free himself of his mistress. And she gets in his head, and so he has to be very careful. He's very concerned about just the mere thought of being free and what that looks like, because he's not sure what level she is in his head, can understand. Will she just get a feeling, or will she actually read every sort of word, thought, concept in his head? So he's guarded about it, but knows it obviously pops in. So that's the most forbidden knowledge he knows. Come with pain. Yeah.
Excellent.
That's Askell.
Lovely.
And we'll hand it over to Jada.
Hi, so Jada is going to answer, well, there's two sort of combined that relate. What's the most tragic story she's ever heard, and what's the most forbidden knowledge she has sought out. So she knows someone's planning the end of the world, so she's terrified about that. And she heard that there's this mysterious devil dust, and she's kind of into mixing herbs and stuff, so she's very curious about what's actually in that recipe.
Excellent. Very good.
Yeah, can we pass on to Pete?
Thank you. That's very interesting. Kia ora, I'm Pete and I play Nicholas. Question I'd like to answer sort of two questions for him as well a little bit. What's the most exhausting journey your character has taken? So Nicholas is quite a studious person, quite an academic-y sort of person, so not particularly physical. He's got some skills like that, and he's developed some. But he started this adventure and met the party, and sort of just got all caught up in it. It's sort of a little bit of out of character him. But I mean, you know, who doesn't have dreams of going adventuring, I suppose? And after a while, the party made its way to this island of Gaul, where we were sort of lying low for a while. It's where we actually met Severin's, and this is before we started doing recordings, I think.
It was.
Yeah. And on this island of Gaul, we met the Joyful Butchers, and we were doing a job for them, basically, which is rescuing one of their officers from the Blueskins. And we made our way to O'Connor's stand, which is in the midst of the jungle, and we sort of broke in there, and we, had a surprise because they'd had politically connected with, I think it was Arabs or some other sort of political faction at the time, which was a big surprise to the Joyful Butchers, who are of sort of Thrace-ish. So that sort of upset our plans about getting out. And so we had to go sort of through the back door of O'Connor's stand and find our way back through the jungles of Gaul. And that would be Nicholas's longest and most tiring journey, especially as a newbie sort of adventurer. It was harrowing. Lots of nasty stuff happened. Lots of death. Lots of, real trauma. So that was fascinating for him. As well as nice stuff. They found an elvish city. And in the midst of everywhere, sort of made some sort of friends, or connected, and so that was a hugely long journey, and crazy way of being introduced to the adventuring world. And what does your character believe is worth dying for? He believes that his research into the effects of trauma on people's minds is worth other people dying for, definitely.
Excellent.
Can I just digress slightly here? Is it okay if I ask Askell a question?
Sure,
You brought up your mistress, and I was just wanting to clarify exactly what the party knows, because when we were in Jebrai Ratana, she got us out of, her reputation was, we used her reputation to clear us when we arrived there. What are our party aware of? And I think Tanya knows maybe a little bit more, but what can I ask what we know?
So definitely, that the first time that was mentioned there is for influence. She was a very well-known, influential merchant with some, it's a great influence, like to get things sorted for us. And I guess maybe Askell sort of might give away with reaction or whatever when talking about her, like it might be like it seems like a little bit of a fake smile. Yeah, seems like probably initially not as composed, sort of thing, or just generally like he's letting his guard down and it alludes that she's not that nice, I guess. Yes, I think as that would be the party. Tanya would know a bit more of and around, like everyone did see there was some person that came and grabbed Askell and sat, and then it looked very heated from a distance, sort of thing. And then I think Tanya knows a bit more that was sent by his mistresses just to check up on Askell and make sure he's doing his thing. No one's seen Askell do what he has to do once a month. Pretty sure. Yeah, he's pretty discreet.
Not less.
About it.
Yeah.
So yeah.
Not that you're aware of, put it that way.
Yeah. So, I guess you'd get the vibe that dinner is useful, but it's a bit of a love-hate relationship going on there. And Askell might just talk about freedom in a philosophical sense, when you might see him like, well, he's away and free, but then he's not at the same time. Yeah.
Oh, thanks heaps, Anthony. That's Askell. It's good to know.
Cool.
Thank you.
No worries.
And last but not least, Graham.
Hi, playing two characters today. First is Severin. Yep, concur. Exhausting journey. That was definitely through the swamps and horrible jungle type escapades. I think I'll answer a different one then. For this one, forbidden knowledge. What is forbidden? I take it to mean secret. I think getting wind of the TTP plot was probably the most forbidden, I guess, knowledge that we have actively sought. In that we, when we were tasked with knocking off a crazy wizard many moons ago, we got wind of this greater threat, both through a prisoner who we rescued and some other sort of scraps of diary notes that we discovered. And indeed, we recovered some rings that we used to unlock other missives between operatives of the TTP. So that's something that we've been actively seeking. So yes. And then second character, Tanya. How does she cope with loss? Tanya is super buttoned up and is not usually expressive. Not usually free with her emotions, but on a couple of occasions now, they've just kind of piled out of her, exploded out of her. She's lost two. One very close family member, her father, and also her godmother. And I think probably because she tends to button it all up, when it comes out, it really comes out. So yeah, that was immediately obvious to the whole party. Possibly somewhere in between would be a good idea, but that's just the way she is.
Excellent. Very good indeed. Well met, one and all, and as promised at the beginning of a few minutes back, there indeed are all the characters. There they are, named. Definitely not going to say shamed, but definitely named. Very good. Well met, one and all. Pete, we're going to turn to you as we usually do, or as we always do, to provide a bit of an update on what happened last session and also a couple of sessions ago too, for filling in people's memories. Go for it. I'll try to fill in with images as and where I can.
Well, thank you. So, a few sessions ago, we'd sort of made our way out of the Vale of Whispers, which is sort of the ruin of the Lords of Arcana, where we were trying to discover Devil's Dust recipe, and trying to intercept 12-Ash Papillus, who managed to escape through a secret passage that has since collapsed. So we sort of have decided perhaps we couldn't get to him, follow him that way. So we decided to come back and restock ourselves, sell items, and then come back to this place and explore the magical teleportation system. We made our way back to Ras Garrett across, as is on screen, these sort of wooded plains, I guess, or savanna or tundra or whatever it is. Our journey was sort of quite fraught. We had no guide because they'd disappeared. We were sort of a bit concerned about them. We ran across probably everything that could try and attack us or eat us or whatever. Yes, there's I've forgotten what those
Sassin.
Sassin, the troll boars, bears, delicious bears, and blueskins. A variety of hazards and dangers. We did find we made a new friend, the fellow on screen, and he was very, very kindly volunteered to guide us back to Ras Garrett. So we eventually got back to within sight of Ras Garrett. And that's where we started our last session. And in our last session, we met this fellow who's on screen now, another new friend who seems to be a blue-skin guy. And he was sort of skulking in the bushes as we were sort of starting to head towards the city in the distance. And we struck up a discourse, and it's sort of always a bit awkward when you meet someone in the wilderness when you're very on guard, but Severin did a great job of easing our communication, and so we were able to find out from him that he was surprised that we did not have border papers to get back into Ras Garrett. We were surprised about that too. We hadn't thought, I don't think we'd thought about getting them or anything related. Anyway, he offered to guide us at a price, and so we took him up on that because we had sort of seen military groups or seen men with weapons and stuff in the distance. There we go. Sneaky, we were trying to sort of just edge our way closer, which was great, and we felt probably quite lucky that we'd found a guide because we hadn't realised that we needed border papers and we didn't want to get into trouble. We just wanted to slip in. That was up until when hiding from a patrol, our wonderful guide, her name is Bolo, I believe, just yelled out, "Here they are! I found some spies!" And we were like, "Oh, great, thanks a lot." There was no fighting, couldn't fight. Too many armed men around us, and really we weren't meaning to be up to no good. We were imprisoned for 4 days. They seemed, because we had no papers, so it did look dodgy, I suppose. Eventually, Maisie, our host, who would connection through the way we describe her as a connection through the Mon Men, she came and extricated us, so got us out of prison, and we made our way back to her house. Sort of got a strange vibe, I think, going through the city. People were not pleased with us. I suppose it was a bit of a big deal that we'd been caught as spies, and so people were aware of us, and I can't remember if they were exactly hissing, booing, and throwing fruit, but people were looking at us as if they knew who we were and weren't trusting of us. Made it back to her place, and we decided to lie low there. We heard a story from her husband Yoren, and this probably has contributed to why there was sort of extra mistrust in Ras Garrett, because we felt it was a bit odd that there was such sensitivity. I don't know. 6 nights ago, Yoren had been coming back from the pub, I think, and had heard someone in distress, basically. So looked through the window of a house, I think, and seen someone being tortured, a woman being tortured. and he was quite disturbed by that, and was, I think, going for help or whatever, but he got beaten up as well. But the upshot was he witnessed some sort of cult ritual basically. Seems like there's these cultists in town, and this woman ended up being butchered, and so that's really put people on edge. There's some sort of hooded cult in town that are torturing people and doing nasty stuff. So I suppose any strangers are under suspicion, which is why the town is quite sensitive.
And just a quick caveat on that, Yoram was actually stabbed. He was very lucky to survive. And the butchering afterwards, the body was found with particularly mutilated, with their lungs and their eyes being removed and put above the body, which was particularly unsavory. So their lungs had been removed from this young woman, and her eyes had been taken out, and the lungs and the eyes were almost like looking down over the body.
Yeah,
lovely,
nice.
Lovely.
It's no wonder I didn't write that in my notes. So that was a bit disturbing to hear that story, but and that explained a bit why the town was on edge. We've decided to lay low, basically, in Ras Garrett, and at the end of that session, we came up with a bit of a plan of what we want to do from here to establish our goals, which was we were going to get our shopping done in Ras Garrett the best we can for our next expedition to the Vale of Whispers. What we can't buy in Ras Garrett easily, so I'll be asking Maisie to do this because we're obviously not in favour. What Maisie can't easily get for what we need, and I think the main thing is we were looking to buy really, really nice, really good food, because that was one of the constraints that we had for why we had to end our trip early. We're running out of food. So what we couldn't buy here, we were going to wanting to for Maisie to arrange travel to Jebai Ionia, which is a free city halfway around the continent, a long way from here, where we're hoping to travel, where no one's expecting us to travel because we are being hunted by all sorts of spy agencies, and we're sort of high profile, and we're trying to keep a low profile. I'm not sure. Well, we've got to do what we've got to do. So we would use the navigator columns to travel to Jebai Ionia, where we would do three things, I suppose. Sell the items that we don't want, so we've asked her to arrange someone to sell them to. We want to buy any supplies, particularly this whey bread, here in a bigger city if we couldn't buy it in Ras Garrett. And we want to find information, and we'd check in Ras Garrett as well, information around the new or current geography and old geography of Turang. So this region, to try and the reason for that is we have seen a map. The transportation device seems to have a map on it with some symbols, and we were just wanting to get old information and new information about the geography to try and match those symbols up to get an idea of where they go. Thanks, Chris. Just out of interest, yes, we can see the two versions of the map, the legend. So we did make the connection that the spectacles that we found in the ruin could be set one language per month, but could be set to read one language. So we've set it to read Arcan, which is the language of the Lords of Arcana, the written language of the Lords of Arcana, and so we're able to decipher the legend. So we've got four symbols there that match up, and we've got Krakoa, Port, what did we say it was? Kata, maybe, and Palace, I think we're seeing. The really exciting thing is Krakoa. So that sun symbol right in the middle, that's the Star's Grave. We know that's where the ritual of Day Zero, where people are going to try to end the world, is going to happen in a month's time? I can't remember. I'm always getting a bit slow on this. About 2 months, is that right, Chris? Sorry.
Today is the evening of the 24th of Year's End. And next, in 6 days' time, is the most inauspicious, horrible day of the year, Year's End Day. The calendar then ticks over into 1787, the next year, and you have been told that Day Zero is going to be on the 19th of Wind, which is the third month of next year. It's the 19th of the third month. wind, also known as the Elvish name of Athor, which is mid-spring in the Northern Hemisphere, the 19th, you've been told.
Thank you. So the little discussion we had last time was that's fantastic. We've got 3 months before we really need to be at Krakoa. Well, perhaps we need to be there a bit earlier, but now we've got a map and a device that will get us there, which is really quite exciting. Yeah, so I think that's pretty much... Oh, just as a side note, because of these spectacles being attuned to Arcana, it did mean that we were able to read the 16 lay-in slates. So the way that the Lords of Arcana stored information was on these it's not indestructible metal, it's quite sort of refined material, lay-in, I think it's called, and that was spell lists, and that's why we've got quite a lot of essence spell lists at our disposal, because we've got the spectacles that can read them. And that's, I think, where we're up to.
Excellent. Any questions, and particularly for Giles, who wasn't... Those are the spectacles, by the way. Giles, who wasn't here previously for the last couple of sessions. Yeah. Anything that's not clear?
From my perspective, that's super helpful. Thanks, Pete.
Just one thing to add from me. In terms of Maisie picking up a few things for us, Severin's on the market for a length of strengthened twine.
Super.
He'll give her the length.
Cool. All right. Very good. No other questions from anybody else? No? Okay. So look, this is the location that we start in. You're back in Ras Garrett, which is this border town. You don't know this intimately, but you do get a sense this is the road that you came out of. The safe house is over here. There's the citadel in the center. You guys were imprisoned in a building in the center. You can see there, and there's this kind of sprawling area, often of blueskin kind of hovels and slums outside the city. And then there was the Joyful Butcher's northern camp, which you saw out here. So you do have a little bit... You've only been here for not even 2 days previously and then today, but it's not a big city, and you have a bit of a sense of its geography, at least. Very, very, very good walls around it. The city itself is and one last thing to mention: this comet that has been an ever-present feature of, not ever-present, has been a recent feature of this game, is definitely getting brighter in the sky, and you can see it in these images there and there. The inhabitants of Ras Garrett, you may remember, it's a garrison town for one of the major powers in this world, the Kingdom of Thrace, and you can see some soldiers in these images, and this Thracian architecture mixed in with the locals. The locals are these tribes people, these Mara people or blueskins. Think of almost Celtic kind of people, blonde hair, tattooed, etc. The ancestors of, or the forebears perhaps of the people that Nicholas is related to, although Nicholas's family has been living in a different location and has been more settled than these people. We begin the game in this shop here, the safe house. It's the evening. Your host and her injured, although recovering husband is downstairs. If no one's got anything else to say, if we're all sitting comfortably, let's start the game. Anything else that evening I should be aware of? You've had your discussions about what you want to do. Anything else that particular evening?
Yeah, just one from Severin. While we got some downtime, Severin would like to ask Jada, who has attuned the totem, whether she could help him learn how to use it.
Absolutely.
Thanks.
Okay. Do you want to give me a roll, please, to see how long? I just want to double check. I'll just get my little attunement bits and bobs up. Here we go. The totem, which can't see it for looking on my sheet. Giving you guys too much stuff. I can barely find it. Here we go. So Jada, you got partial success. So you have an intuitive feel of how to use it. You need to wait a week. That was on the 16th. So there were several people that did a big attunement session on the 16th. You can't make another attempt, Jada, to do that until a week has passed. So that was the 16th. A week has passed. So you can make another attempt to try to figure it out, Jada. And once you have figured it out, you can then attempt to teach other people, in this case Severin, how to use it. But first, Jada, you need to figure it out. You or someone else need to figure it out. You do no longer have the modifier, the negative, of what this thing does, because you've figured out what it does. You just need to spend some more time working on it. If you remember how the attunement rules work, I'll just get them up, just to refresh everybody's and the GM's memory. Just coming. So, if you spend less than an hour attuning, you have a negative 20. If you spend between 1 hour and 4 hours, you get a plus 0. If you spend more than 4 hours, you get a plus 5. You no longer have the negative 10 because you do know what the item is. In fact, you get a plus 20 because you know what the spells and abilities are. If you wish, JR, give me a roll.
How long have we got? Oh, not that one. Hang on. Delete. Oh, is it gone? Yeah. Sorry. That is 47.
47. It is, of course, as per usual, it's masked. It is a 47. Oh, that's interesting. Can you roll again, please?
And this one, 60.
60. Very good. And what's your bonus, please, Jada?
It is 62.
62. And... okay, thank you.
Actually, it's 68. That's my old sheet. Sorry.
Okay, yep, no problem.
Must print that out.
So... you... yeah, you are stumped, Jada. You are absolutely stumped. Yes, you know what it is. You do know it's magical, but it is just beyond you. It's yeah, it's just hard. This thing is just proving really, really difficult to get your mind around. It's yes. It's maybe because it's combat related and it's prevents you from being stunned, and maybe because Jada typically often isn't stunned in combat, you just, it's beyond you. You cannot figure this thing out.
Damn. Sorry.
That's all right. Any chance someone else can have a go at some point?
Yeah, Nicholas will have a go because I don't think there's much chance he wants to use it.
Well, I'm assuming that was only a 1 hour attempt by Jada. So give me a roll, Nicholas. You've probably got at least one attempt. Give me a roll. Again, you don't suffer the negative of what it is because you've been told by your companions.
They're going to the right channel. Oh, sorry. Or can someone else read what that was? Because I'm sorry, I was way up in the.
25.
Thank you.
25. Can you roll again, please?
Oh no.
84.
Okay. And what's Nicholas's skill, please?
66.
Bumfa. Yeah, Nicholas, you helped by Jada and informed of what it is and its purpose and all the rest of it. You spent an hour twisting and turning this thing over in your hand, just to refresh people's memory. It's quite an unusual object. It looks like that. Quite hideous.
Can't see.
Oh, you can't? Yes, you can't, because I have the wrong screen on. It looks like that. You spend some time twisting and turning it over in your hands and thinking about it. And yes, indeed, Nicholas, you do figure it out. Your result was a success, which means you get a plus. It wasn't an absolute success, but you get a plus 75 on helping others try to figure out how it works. They can still fail, of course.
Cool. Can I just make a note? I think is this like conclusive proof that Roland ate fish, not rabbits? This totem.
It's probably a blueskin totem. So they would pray to their own gods. They highly unlikely they would be Roldenic, but you never know, Pete. Good question.
If anyone was to engage in that discourse, I think Severin would. Well, he was quite enamoured of it, wasn't he? He loved to talk about rabbits or fish.
Put me off religion.
So, just
1d8.
Just before we do that,
Sorry.
Okay. Let's resolve this, and then we'll come back to more attunement. Yep. So, you can indeed help someone learn, and it takes a 1d8. So let's see how long it takes you to teach Severin. And this
is it going to be Severin rolling or me rolling?
I think it's you teaching. It's how well Nicholas teaches. So 1d8, please.
D8. 2. Okay.
2.
Nice.
Cool.
So I would say you'd want to get to sleep by about 10 o'clock that evening, but I would be happy with an hour for Jada to attempt, failed, an hour for Nicholas to attempt, succeeded, 2 hours for teaching, and then one last hour for Severin to attempt to attune. I'd give you that this evening before you guys need to sleep. The other and we'll come to that roll in a second, Severin. The other thing to note is anybody that's got a near success or a partial success for when you do your big attunement session on the 16th can have another go. So, for example, because time will have elapsed, we got a near success on the... Let's just go down the list, just to let you know, in case anybody wants to try anything again. The ring with the motif of the woman pouring was successful. The spectacles of translation have been attuned by Nicholas. The battle totem has now, courtesy of Nicholas, been attuned. Nicholas has tuned the Gauntlet of the Vengeful Lay Healer. I love that name. Yotto figured out what the black swirling liquid does. You just simply drink it. Nicholas got a partial success on the staff. So still no one has actually fully figured out how to use the staff yet. But people know what it does. But someone else can attempt on the staff again. Or Nicholas, you can attempt the staff again, of course. It's probably more the point. The leather coat, Jada got a near success, and you can attempt that again, Jada. The mirror of wish revealing got a success. Jada got an absolute success on the dancing slippers. Ishmael's eye got a success from Jada, so that was the amulet. The longbow got a success from Nicholas. Plain silver ring, Yotto got a success on that. The dagger of long strokes was figured out by Jada. So everything there. So yes, anything that's mentioned, anybody can have another go at.
But stuff like the stuff you're wearing doesn't necessarily need an achievement anyway, right? So if you know what it does, that's enough.
Depends what it is.
Well, the coat, for instance.
No, you would need to attune. You would need to attune to it.
Okay, all right. Well, Tenny would ask someone to help with that too. And also the amulet, which you just wear, does that need attunement?
So the amulets. No, that one is passive.
Yeah, so I mean, Tanya would ask someone nicely if they could help with the coat as well at some point.
Okay, so the coat.
That would be Jada again.
Yes,
Sure.
a near success from. So we'll end it with both the coat and the totem. So Jada, can you give me? While Nicholas was attempting on the totem, can you give me another roll on the leather coat, please?
The coat coming right up. 40
40.
plus 68.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, not great, unfortunately. Let's just have a look. Yeah, again, you're just not having great luck on this. You're going to have to wait a while, I'm afraid, Jada, and a while being days. It just didn't. Yeah, it just is not clicking for you tonight. So no joy on that.
Hey, Chris, while this is going on,
Yep.
I've never done this before, so I'm not quite sure how this works, but Yotto would be pretty keen to sit in a corner and take a look at these spell lists.
Yeah, sure. Yep. Let's just resolve the totem first, and then we'll go around other characters. So unfortunately, no joy on the leather coat. Can we go to Severin's attempt with a plus 75 on the totem? Severin, you don't have an attunement skill, I'm assuming. Can someone please tell me what or better yet, someone tell Severin what the two stats are for attunement, and figure out that with the negative 25, please.
You'll need one of the more recent character sheets, I think, for that to be listed.
I've got it somewhere. I'll just get to my.
I might see if I can beat you to it.
I think it's. Empathy, self-discipline. Empathy, intuition.
Hang on, I'll tell you. And yes, we are all eventually going to move to your much better character sheet, Graham. Here we go. Attunements. Empathy, intuition. So take your 2 stats, divide by 2, and then minus 25.
Empathy and intuition. Right.
Correct.
That is 16.
16, so 25 minus 16, you got a negative 9. So 75 minus 9, give me a roll.
And if I take longer over it, what would happen?
If you take more than 4 hours, you get a plus 5.
May as well do that, right? Because some of us aren't going to be doing much tomorrow.
Okay, so you can start the process tonight, but you'll need to roll tomorrow.
I think that makes sense. No hurry.
Okay. Okay, sure thing. Cool. So
also, while this is going on, he'll keep, given there are sort of greenskins around, I think he'll keep it in his bag for the moment anyway.
Okay, blueskins, yes, sure. Sure thing.
Them too.
Yep, them too. Excellent. So we'll do the roll for that tomorrow, but Nicholas, you've started the process of sitting down with Severin and talking him through it. Yotto, to your question about these things here. Now, where is my... Is it there? There it is. Yeah, cool. So these intact, you can see on screen, these were the smash ones that you saw. But these little slates or pieces of magical glass, they're kind of about that big, and they're inscribed in text. The text, should you be at all interested, looks like that text. You can see down in the corner down here. How does it work? Basically, you just need to tell me in-game that you've started the process of learning a spell list. So you will need to attune to the spectacles, and the set of spectacles can be only attuned to one person at a time. So Nicholas currently has figured out how to use the spectacles. He can again take some time and try to teach you how to use it. The reason, by the way, we do a roll for what could be seen to be relatively mundane housekeeping exercises is you can screw up. If your character rolls poorly, you can get to a situation where your character can actually never use the particular item. So the rolls are important. You will need to attune to the spectacles. Nicholas is otherwise occupied tonight, I'm afraid, so that's probably going to have to wait. Okay. But once you attune to the spectacles, you can then look at one of those red lay-in slates, and on those red lay-in slates is a language that you can now magically, if you can watch the image on screen, changes from that to that. You can read it.
In which case, I guess what Yotto would be keen to do then is have a chat to Askell about this, because it may in fact be to Askell's advantage to do this first. So Yotto has a number of spells he can use and not many PowerPoints, so it may in fact be better for Askell to do some learning and get the glasses.
You're cool. Have a chat amongst yourselves. Anything else other than those activities discussed tonight? Anybody doing anything else?
When Nicholas has downtime, he'd do his own study as well of Haradanian and spell lists and things.
Okay.
So will Jada.
Okay.
The brilliance list.
Yeah, great. Fantastic. Cool.
Askell would like to talk to someone just about attuning because he doesn't have an attune skill. So he'll need someone to help, whether it's Nicholas, to tune those glasses just when he's free.
Right.
Cool. So Nicholas could say, well, whenever we've got another downtime, because it'll take 1d8 time of hours to do the teaching.
Okay. Cool.
So.
Okay. You, unless anybody tells me otherwise, you head to sleep. You have been aware of a number of people kind of circling this. You can see the image on screen. The pottery shop that you're staying in with Maisie and her recovering husband. people had followed you through the streets and had been shouting some rather rude things, and some of that directed at the very, very massively tall Arabic woman Jada, who definitely stands out, and also Askell, who does look a bit different. Prejudice and bigotry, of course. You pick on people that you don't understand. And there were people hissing kind of cultists at you and horrible things. You know, the young girl who had her her eyes and her lungs removed was the daughter of you'd picked up quite a popular service member amongst town. I think I had mentioned it was a sergeant or perhaps a lieutenant of the garrison here in Ras Garrett, and she was a particularly popular, vivacious, charming young woman, and her loss is certainly felt. So you had attracted a bit of interest going back to the shop. You may recall the shop was on this street here, and then up this alleyway here behind this guy's head, round this corner up here. So it's not the main drag here, it's just around the corner. Anything I should know about you heading to bed that evening?
Yeah, can I just jump in? The lungs and eyes on the shelf is odd. Does Nicholas likes to do, I don't know if it's general knowledge or I don't know what else there could possibly be. Does that ring any bells? Does he know anything? Is that a cult he knows of? Anything like that?
Give me a roll, please.
D100. 49.
49.
Masked, hopefully.
Yeah, yes.
And
yep. And what is his general knowledge, please?
General knowledge, 64.
It's a 49. Oh, right.
Yep.
Yeah, Nicholas, you do pick up. This does ring a bell for you. I'm just going to pop something into your chat.
Thanks.
Whether it's true or not, you don't know, but yep.
Yeah, for sure.
The other thing I'd like to do is set up watch, Chris, if that's right.
Sure. I see. Just coming. Oops, my little box is in the way of me typing. Nicholas coming into your chat now.
Oh. Okay. Nicholas would be happy to share that with the party. He just says that he's got vague memories of hearing that some of the horrific fell god cults remove both the lungs and eyes, as well as slaying their victims in a particularly bloody way. So fell gods are the old gods of the old order?
No.
Well,
No. So there are 15 of the old gods. So the 15 of the old gods are. Yeah. Do we want a quick religious lesson? I'm trying not to deviate too much away from the story, but hey, just putting some lore into the game. Why not? We'll go to that. Just take me a second or so to find what I'm after. There we go. Come on, computer. There we go. Lovely. Yeah. View. Full screen mode. There we go. So yeah, let's do a little bit of, why not? Let's just do a little bit of lore for everybody concerned. So the old gods, the 15, the creation myth is that Talaron the Father came to the Earth, Duin, the Earth Mother, and produced the 14/15 old gods. There's Rohe, the King of the Gods, the Queen of the Gods, Hades, the god of water, Mandos or Geron, the god of death. You may recall, for those in the other game, the hero game, you came across priests of Mandos down south, Kamita, etc. etc. Sorry, just flicked to the wrong one. And there are other gods. Ares, the god of war, Mahal, the god of the non-living earth, Aphrodite, Tushan, etc. Apollo, Eldaron, etc. Turnam is one of the original 15, and Turnan was corrupted, so the legends say, and he is known as the Dark God, the Black Child, the Nameless One, the Unmaker, and there he is actually eating one of his nieces or nephews, and he is the evil god from the Parthenon of the old gods. And then there are children of the original 14. You have Elba, the god of violence and stealth, Attune, etc., etc., etc. And there are a whole bunch of demigods. But those are the main 14 or 15 gods. So the evil deity in the original Parthenon is this one here. The fell gods, and then if we go down, there's Roldan, who was the son of a human, a Roldenic person who was the son of this god, and he was pinned to the execution tree and run through by spears by the Arab folk, and then there are all kinds of other weird and wonderful gods. So to answer your question directly, Pete, the fell gods are something different. The fell gods, no one really knows anything about them, other than they are not of that Parthenon. They are of a different Parthenon, and they are loathed and hated throughout the world, to the point where you'll actually have warring major powers, the Thracians and the Empire of Thamasul, or the Thracians and the San Kush, or the San Kush and the Empire of Thamasul, and all these other, and the other lesser tier nations, will sometimes even make, if not make peace, come to a truce to go out and to find and slaughter the fell gods. They are considered so loathsome and hideous, and they're almost like the bogeymen. People don't necessarily believe that they're real. They could be other gods. They could be local gods. They're not necessarily. No one really knows whether the fell gods exist, but there are rumors, you'd heard, Nicholas, that part of the sacrifices that these horrible cults will do is the removing of eyes and lungs from people. Is that true? You don't know.
Cool. So they're not of any particular nation. They're sort of localized, but there's also. Gotcha. Cool. Yep. Thank you. He'd pass that on to the group, and just as a thought, that might be who is around.
Okay. Cool. You mentioned watches that night. You set a watch. Anything else?
You'll take pulse for
Cool.
4 hours.
Okay. Anything else I need to know about that evening? Nope. Okay. You wake the next day. Yet again, the weather is pleasant. It's not. The temperature here is quite nice. I've described it several times as being not humid. Basically, you got very, very sick and tired of the close, clinging, horrific, humid nature of Katana. This is quite dry in comparison. 24, high of 24 today. Quite pleasant. Light air, and a little bit of cloud in the sky. You wake. What do you do?
Had Daisy gone off to do shopping yesterday, or is she going to go out today?
You haven't spoken to her yet. Okay. You've had a plan amongst yourselves about what you do, but you haven't approached her. And I'm assuming the training that Nicholas was doing on the totem from yesterday is spilling over today. I would say if you wake up early enough, Severin, you can make a roll this morning if you wish before you leave your rooms.
Okay, cool. I think we'd want to have a chat with our host and run the plan past her and see what she thinks of that.
Okay, great. That seems to be the way to go. Anybody else doing anything I should know? Otherwise, we'll go to a roll for Severin and then a conversation with your host, with Maisie. All right, great. Severin, give me a roll. You get a +5 because you've spent more than 4 hours trying to figure out how this thing works. You also get a +75 from Nicholas, from his assistants. You do, however, and you also get a +10 because you know what the item does, but you get a -9 because you don't have a skill or attunement. Give me a roll, please.
6.
6. It could be good. It could be bad. +75. Plus 10. Okay. Oh, Severin. You are 1 away. You almost had it. Nicholas's teaching is clear. Oh, hang on, no, you get the +5 because you did longer. You did get the +5. I'd forgotten to add that on. Happy to say, Severin. Success. You are now attuned to this quite hideous totem, the image that I showed up on screen. Congratulations.
Thanks. I think while we're here, he won't tie it around him, but he's, as mentioned, looking to get some twine and tie it around under his arms, around his chest, so it doesn't wobble around too much. But probably won't while he's in this place.
Okay. Sure thing.
And then I think Pete sort of detailed what the conversation that we were going to have in the text above.
Okay.
Severin would actually be the talker, though, right?
Yeah, he's happy to go through that and ask Maisie if that's something she'd be able to organise.
Okay. So you all head downstairs for this conversation?
Yeah, why not? Yeah.
Okay, sure. So you head downstairs from your quite secure rooms. They don't have bars on the windows, but I described quite a secure door on this place, and quite cozy. You quite like this place. There's no sign of Yoren, but Maisie is there preparing breakfast for you, as she's done at least once before. She greets you. How did you sleep?
Wonderfully, thanks. Yes, the beds were very comfortable. Couldn't ask for more. Wonderful lodging, thank you.
Excellent. Good.
You want to play this out?
Sure.
Yeah. So everyone would he wouldn't launch straight in. He'd undertake some niceties. Then he'd sort of say, we're very conscious of the kind of the trouble we may have caused in coming back in the wrong way, and the stress in town, and how we're being seen outside this town. We're looking to move on as quickly as we can, which I think will be good for everyone. However, to do so, we're looking at quite a long journey, and we're looking to sort of buy a month's supply of whey bread for each character. And I don't think we can get it in this town. We were wondering if we could jump out to a different location, purchase this, but also we have some goods that we'd like to bargain for. I'm wondering whether you had a contact in Jebai, Ionia, that we could arrange to meet up with, and perhaps that host could arrange a meeting with the buyer, where we could arrange that for a day. Hopefully that wouldn't take longer than a day, and then we'd come back, and then we'd look to move on from Ras Garrett, and wondered if you might be able to arrange. I appreciate, obviously, worryingly, there's no sign of our guides. I'm wondering whether someone else may be able to guide us back to the Vale, and take us as far as the Vale again, where we intend to sort of go on from there, as whether you'd be able to provide us with someone who could guide us once we return. Appreciate that's a bit of a list of stuff there to do, but wondering whether that is possible in a few days. The other thing we'd be quite interested in is some maps and geography. Somewhere at the other end, somewhere we could go and look at some old maps and so forth. Yes, well, I just want what you make of that, and I guess so. As much as comfortable as is here, and it's nice to linger in your home. I take the sort of eyes of suspicion off yourselves, and we then look to sort of be on our way as soon as possible.
She smiles, somewhat wanly, and says, "Thank you, Aspen, your pseudonym. Thank you for your concern. Yeah, look, it has been a stressful few weeks. Firstly, with what happened to Yoren, and then the horrible rumours that have been going around town. I mean, this, as you know, this is a garrison town. It's a hard town. There are tough people here, but this has really shaken people. And then with your imprisonment, yes, it hasn't helped. And as part of what I do, hosting guests, generally I try to keep my guests, the infrequent guests that I have here, a low profile, right? I just want to keep my guests' comings and goings quiet, and no need to cause attention to what they're doing. And Pete, by the way, you've got an open mic. So yes, a little bit distressing, but thank you for your concern. Jebai, I don't know where that is. But it's my job to help you move from this place to your next place, wherever it is. So I can make inquiries, and if there is a navigator's stone, do you know how far, or like roughly where this place is?
Severin will give an answer as best he can.
Oh, she says a very long way away. That would be many months physical journey. So you're talking about some kind a journey via the navigator's column, is that right?
Yes, making use of the passes that we've been afforded.
Okay. Well, I can certainly assist. That is my role, to help to both accommodate and look after my guests as best I can, and to help you get from to your next destination. So absolutely, yes, I can do that, and it would be my pleasure to. In terms of buyers and that other location, again, I don't even know where the place is, but it is my job to arrange your next destination and to make arrangements that are helpful to you. You will need to give me some time to do that. Speaking of that, can I ask one brave person to figure out how much time it takes, please? Can I get a 1d16, please? Add 1d16 plus 2.
Who can reassuringly roll low every time they roll?
Me to do it?
If you're up to it, if you're feeling low,
Unlucky.
Unlucky punk. Yeah.
Come on.
D16, right?
D16 plus 2. So a 1d16 plus 2.
Yay.
7?
7 plus 2 equals 9.
Oh no. So 5 plus. I put it in a calculation, so it's 5 plus 2.
Oh,
7.
the total is 7. Got it. Cool. Okay.
Total 7.
Cool. Thank you. Okay. Actually, I might ask you guys to do that later on. So she says, look, I'll need to take some time, no doubt some days, to make some inquiries and to see what can be arranged. But firstly, can I get you to your next destination? I'm sure I can. And secondly, can I make inquiries to assist you with making sale of items? I'm sure I can. I guess critically, what are you trying to sell? What items are you trying to? What are you trying to sell?
Well, I guess a question. Someone asked the question: if we chose a location closer, would that sort of help speed up the kind of the time, or?
No, not necessarily. It just depends on a whole myriad of different things. It depends how many other travelers or guests there might be in a particular location. Sometimes people like myself see no one for years. Sometimes there might be 3 people in the space of a month, or 3 travelers in the space of a month. It depends on what's happening. It depends on where people are. So it's less about the distance, because of course with the benefit of traveling via these ancient black stone columns, the navigator columns, really time is somewhat irrelevant. It's really just down to luck and dependent on what's happening at the other end. And also on my connections here of who I ask the questions to get an answer back. So less about distance. If however it's a physical journey, sometimes that can be faster or slower.
Yes, and we're looking at selling some sort of antique items that we occasionally trade, and also some items of magical ability. And also we have a small amount of, a measure of bronze.
So metal trading, antiques.
Metal items and antiques.
Okay. She's clearly a literate woman. She's taken some notes. So with both your transport and with arranging somebody for you to speak to, I'm sure I'll be able to assist. And you mentioned other things as well?
Well, really, while we were there, it was just more if anyone could assist and take us to a seat of learning, whether that be a library or some other university that would have some sort of ancient maps, geographical sort of information.
Of where?
Of the known world. One of us would like to undertake some study while we're there, if there was any spare time.
Possibly, yes.
Yeah,
I can...
if there's such a facility there, I'm afraid we don't know, but
yes. I mean, again, is there? When you say the known world, I say the known world. We're quite travellers, and we kind of been all over the world, and we're just looking to expand our knowledge in terms of sort of where to go next. And yes, it's just if it's not a major, but if there just happened to be a place like that in the city, we'd be interested in visiting it. I'll certainly make some investigation. Certainly.
And sorry, the final thing was whey bread, which were particularly important.
Yes. No, you did mention that. Whey breads actually your characters probably wouldn't have asked this. Your characters would know common knowledge that the secrets of whey bread are hidden by the elves. General Gil Hallen's secret recipe of 18 herbs and spices which he doesn't give out readily, you would need to go to either a larger city where there is a community of elves that would, and your characters would have known that your chances of finding this, possibly via a garrison, so buying it off the military, maybe, but more commonly you'd head to a bigger city. Unlikely to find it in a garrison town like this. So
Cool.
you would have actually been aware of that.
Yeah. Okay.
There's a few basics that I think we need to. I know Yoto needs to. Eskel needs to replace a few things that did not come back after we got.
Yep. So
As well.
Sure. So any mundane items, anything that's on the price list in that book. Can you guys see that book there? That's the character and campaign. If you go to the any of the items which are found in pages 108 going on to 117-ish, thereabouts, anything that's less than 5 gold pieces, you could typically pick up. You'd be paying town costs. So just go ahead, and those items are typically relatively mundane. There may be a chance of, depending on each one, there is a 30% chance in a town that those items may not be readily available, and you may need to wait some time for production. There's a 30% chance. So I'll give an example. If you're after a cooking pot, which costs can't see it for looking. Pot cooking, 8 bronze pieces. In town cost, I should say, is 7 bronze pieces. So you'd pay 7 bronze pieces. There is a 30% chance that there just simply may not be a supply of pots in this town. In a city, you'd find them no problem at all, but there just may not be a supply here. So there's a 30% chance there would be a wait for that item to be manufactured, produced, and you'll see in the charts in there is a production time. In this case, for an iron pot, cooking pot, there's a 1 day length of time that it would take to produce. So any items that you're wanting to get, any mundane items as mentioned, Maisie can definitely provide them for you. You will need to pay for them, but go ahead, list them, and then please make your own dice roll to figure out whether or not they're available or whether or not you've got to wait. That would apply to clothing, that would apply to ropes, that would apply to oil, etc., etc., etc. I'm very happy for you each to do your own shopping. Jot it down into quickly tell me what it is, and then jot any of your transactions and bits and bobs and pop them into the XP character tracker, etc. So happily go and start doing some investigation now of anything you may want to buy. Maisie can purchase that for you.
Can I ask about stuff that's not on that list? First aid kit and bandages.
Yeah, sure. So yes, so take a proxy. There is actually better yet. So you can use that book, which is a more condensed version. The other one, if you're wanting everything unimaginable, is this book here. It's also in the PDFs that we have. It's called A 10-Foot Pole, and we use Renaissance price costs. So that's from page 69, and there is everything listed there. There is everything from the price of a fig to a barrel to a spoke shave to a trident to a calf, an ox, a goat, a pottery jar, a piece of chalk, an inkwell, and there are indeed first aid kits listed in here. So that's your place to have a look. There doesn't, unfortunately, irritatingly, it doesn't give a town cost. Add on another 30% onto the town costs and the cost in there.
You want us to do this after the game and then tell you, or to do it now? Sorry.
After the game.
Cool. And is there costs for doing laundry?
Yep. Yes, there would be in that book there. There would be costs for doing this everything in that book. Everything.
I don't know how this works. If you're going to do laundry, you're going to be hanging out a bit free and easy, right? I presume Maisie has a towel that Yoda could borrow if he wants to wash everything from top to toe.
I think she's pretty good to help you with that. Yep.
Okay, cool. Thank you.
So any rather than spending time in game doing such things, do that. I should have said doing that out of game, and pop it into the sheet. But yes, that book there, you should be able to find it. That book there is your friend. It has everything. There is a much more simplistic list, easy to find, easy to navigate in that book there. But for things like first aid kits and services and all kinds of things, go for that one. We use Renaissance prices, page 100 and no, page 70 onwards. Any other questions or comments for Maisie? There was a list of questions, Pete, that you put in. You've addressed some of them. You were asking some other specifics on anything else that was listed in your questions, Pete, that you wanted to ask Maisie.
Sorry. So yeah, we were talking about the geography. Border papers. So sorry. I missed if you included getting a guide. If Severin talked about getting border papers, because we'd need to do that.
So, sorry. So we were talking. Yes, you did. So she comes back to that topic and says, firstly, I can arrange to get other guides. That I don't know them as well, and they're not as trustworthy. I've been working with and known Brannon and Donald and Fergus, less well known. By the way, I have heard they came late last night. You may have heard someone at the door. Their families are wishing to speak with you, either later today or tomorrow, to see if you can tell them more about what have happened to their loved ones.
Certainly, yes.
The arrangement of guides when you come back from, where did you say it was? Jebbai Ionia? Is that right? Thibron, yes. I've heard of the Sea of Thibron. When you come back from there, yes, I can arrange those. To get border papers would be both really expensive, and you would need to pay for them. My guess is between 5 to 20 gold pieces per person, and depending on how fast you need them. With the guides, the benefit of a guide is they know the quiet places you wouldn't have even noticed when you went out with Brannon and Donald and Fergus, but their ability is to find quiet places just to slip over the border. So your choice is either to attempt for me to try to arrange passes, which would be both expensive and I may or may not get them, and they may arouse suspicion, but I may get them, or just simply go with guides back to the Vale. You want to go back there, she says, looking quite curious. And
yes, we didn't quite finish our business there, but we ran out of food. So we thought it wise to come back and stock up.
I see.
And also we lost our guides too, and we don't know quite what happened. But I think I'll confer with my group, but I think if we have some good guides, that would be good. We don't really intend on crossing over to Tyrone and hanging around there for any length of time. I think that would be preferred, but will consult the group.
You say you are going to Tyrone because my sector commander's been getting quite a few interesting requests on that of late.
Are really people going to Tyrone?
Oh, she said, I might have spoken out of turn.
No, fine. Who's going to Tarong?
She looks a little bit flustered. You'd have to speak to my sector commander. I'm sorry. I said too much.
I don't think we'd want to go there. If we have to cross to get to the Vale, that's one thing. But if there's an easy way of doing that.
Well, no, the way that.
The way that went before.
Yes.
Yes, I think that would be preferred. Group.
Well, she says to explain the geography to you. Ras Garrett is. Can you see? I just need to see what you can see.
Yep.
Ras Garrett is here. The Vale of Whispers is here. The border with Taurong is here. So the Vale of Whispers is in a no man's land in between the lands of Messenia, the Thracian lands, and Taurong. You had no need to go to Taurong.
No, we don't wish to go there. No.
Yep. I suppose Nicholas would point out to Severin at the time, or would have talked earlier or later, but he would just point out to the group that if we were to get guides, what's the arrangement with them? Because we go through the teleportation thing, and we go down south somehow. We don't want them waiting for us. And if we're to come back, then we've got no guides. We've got no way to get across the border in the quiet places because we're not going to unless we don't have those skills. So I reckon the papers is a better idea.
Okay, you think we'll come?
You know
back?
what I mean? Well, no. Well, I'd rather have the option, right? We might not. We might not come back. We might die. But eventually, our travel back from the south is probably going to come through here, right?
Right.
Yeah.
The only thing is
So, you're on mute, Graham.
I was thinking I'm being under suspicion for being spies. Now the spies want to get some papers to cross into Taurong,
Yeah.
Going back to the same people who just imprisoned us, saying, those guys who you just let out and didn't want to let out.
Yeah. Oh, but you see what I'm. Absolutely.
No, yeah.
So maybe we have to have a think about that because we don't know where we're going to go. We don't know how it's going to look. But I think our chances are we might come. Oh no, maybe
Does
no.
anyone have a map skill? So Yoda's got a geography skill. Is there any way that we could sit down with a guide and simply draw out a map of the quiet places that might improve our capacity to get across?
Yeah. I think Askell. I think Anthony's gone, but Askell's got a navigation skill, which I believe is a skill with maps. I think orientation around maps.
So
is that right?
Would that be an alternative? It seems weird that we'd get papers and they'd be taken.
Sorry, I just realised how I might be well wrong. Is of course there probably will be navigator stones in the south, and we would just simply summon a navigator to get back north. So you're absolutely right. We probably won't come through here. You're absolutely right.
So the question is,
forget what I was saying.
That's all good. The question is though, do we want to spend a week doing this?
Technically, I shouldn't have asked for that role, and I'm because you guys now know how long it's going to be. What I might, so you don't actually know it's going to be a week.
Okay. How long do we want to spend doing this?
We'd get a well. I suppose if not, we wouldn't know the definite week, but we'd know from Maisie it's going to take
a few days.
A few days at least, right? We'd get a minimum time would be 4 days from her or whatever. Do we have other options? I mean, if we're not going to do that, what else are we going to do?
It would only make a difference if, rather than sell stuff, we
dashed.
Go back to Cantana or wherever it was, stashed in the bank or something like that. But there's quite a lot of there's stuff though. It's not just cash; it's stuff. It depends if we actually think we're going to need that money or not.
Also, going back to Cantana, we don't know how long it'll take for her to make that arrangement either.
No, exactly. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, good. Yep.
I mean, the other thing is, and I don't know if we wanted to risk it, but we've got Severin's mum's job.
Yeah.
in that time. And also we could try and investigate these cultists and flush them out, but we're not popular, so perhaps we just want to lay low. Got lots of tuning to do and researching to do, I guess.
Well, I mean, if we flushed out the cultists, A, it would exonerate us, right? And B, might put us into people's good books.
Possibly. But it could be quite... Yeah, could have a think about how to do that. I mean, if we're resigned to spending however long it takes for Maisie to make these arrangements here, then, yeah, if that makes sense, I guess.
Esker would be interested in flushing out some cultists and set some traps and snare.
The danger is that essentially us sneaking around doing stuff actually just causes more suspicion.
Yeah.
The danger is us leaving the house.
Yeah, indeed.
And we're being watched now all the time.
Yeah. Who's got disguise spells? Do we have anyone with a disguise spell other than invisibility?
James is going to get a drink. Keep chatting.
Yeah.
No.
Right, we're not being watched. Now let's do something. He's gone. Dark Lord's gone.
Where's our alternative GM?
Yeah. Quick, send her a text.
Yeah.
All right. I'll dress up as a
James
kitten.
got a facade spell.
Oh, what's that one?
Have you?
Limited illusion that allows the caster to look like any humanoid figure within 20% of their own size.
Oh,
That's good. Can you
Fantastic.
pass that? Is that's the same on the Athlon's got? Is that just on self, isn't it?
Oh, hang on. Facade on the caster.
That's good.
Yeah,
Okay,
self.
so you,
Caster.
who wants to be a spy? Oh, Jada. Thanks for putting your hand up.
yeah. Make yourself shorter for a start.
Yeah.
So I guess if anyone touches you, you become visible, or how does?
No, you just have the resemblance of somebody else.
Okay.
So yeah, you're not actually, you just look, you choose to look how you want to look. So you could look like a green stroke blue skin and
Great.
greeny blue skin, and you could, wander around, or
Right.
not, or someone else entirely, or another human. It could make you shorter.
Stand out.
Yeah. Nicholas can't really help.
Yeah, no, Yotto's got nothing that's useful really, unless we want to try floating around or flying above people. On the presumption people don't usually go looking up. It all sounds a bit dodgy, really.
That went around.
Nice.
Dodgy. First we're a suspected cultist, then we're suspected cultists who can fly. I'm sure that helps.
I came in late to that conversation. Sorry, I just had to. Daughter decided she is going with her brother, and then she's not coming back. She's gone to her mum's. A day earlier, so we just sit there. But late in the conversation, you mentioned, was it navigation and mapping, Pete? What was that?
I was barking up the wrong tree. The reason for that was I was pointing out, do we need the guides to get back? So I was thinking, if we were to go through the teleportation Vale of Whispers, we'd go down south. How would we get back across the border into Ras Garrett when we came back? Because the guides can't wait for that long. Of course, wrong that we don't. So, did we want to get a map drawn? I think I'm wrong. There'll be navigator columns in the south somewhere. We can use navigator to get back. We don't have to come back through Ras Garrett. So, my bad. But
That's right. Yeah. Part of what Esker was going to look for some mapping and tools and compass and all the other stuff that we didn't have previously.
Actually, just while we're here, I'll just put a little plug in. Where is it? I'm going to actually put my little screenshot into our into our main game channel. Just a thought. I just was reading the dying man's words. So this is Torvish Papillus's friend, lover, whatever he was, the guy who was dying in the ruin, the alchemy ruin. He mentioned, he said that, we've got 3 months to sort of get to the Star's Grave. We might want to follow up on Papillus before then. We know that Papillus is going to either seek him in one of his 3 holds far to the south, not many days from the Star's Grave. So that's where this guy, who was very close to him, thought Papillus was going to run off to. So somewhere with not many days from the Star's Grave. His secret sites where key ingredients of the dust are made, so that's probably where he's going. Phaedon Kalilus of Katanos knows these sites. I made a connection that on that map, one of the 4 things on the legend is kata. It says kata. So I wonder if once we get back to the going on using the teleporting device, we could go to that location of kata, which it might be well. That's why we want the maps of the area to figure out if it's a city in Torong, and look for this Phaedon Kalilus to get a better location of where Papillus will be. So that was just one little connection I made. That's one option we can take. Does that make sense?
I think it's a good idea, actually. Can I just check, why are we going anywhere? Why don't we just do all our buying and trading here at whatever price we can get, and then go to this place and find this Phaedon Kalilus?
Well, we're in a very little small town, and we'd be very limited in terms of who we'd find to sell this stuff to.
Okay, so we have 11 weeks and 5 days, and if it's going to take a week to jump somewhere and a week to jump back, that uses about 20% of our time.
Can't we just hide all our stuff somewhere? Do we have to sell it?
That's what I was saying. We could stash it in a bank. We could just stash it anywhere. I don't know. There's a bank in this town, but
Money, do we?
So it's the food that's the problem then. So we don't need to sell everything. It's just we need to be able to provision ourselves for a good long time before we venture through the teleportation devices, and because that's into the unknown and we don't know where our next meal's coming from.
Yeah, it's easy to find waybread if possible, and if not, which, we've got elves with us.
We won't find waybread here. That's
find in hard pack or whatever we can get, as much of it as we can, and go.
So we won't find waybread here, and we can't take a pack animal through the tunnel.
The cliff?
You would know that you can't find waybread in this little border town, but this is a tiny little border town. There might. Sorry, I'll shut up.
Is there better options than waybread? I mean, sorry, I came across waybread by just looking in the book, and that was the one that was by far much better, because you get a month's worth of food. And it only weighs 4 lbs, which is 4 pounds, which is crazy. It's very expensive, but crazy good. But if we could, there's great bread, which is less expensive. You get 1 week that's 4 pounds. So we could buy several weeks worth of that, because our normal trail rations for 1 week is like 14 pounds. So. Sorry, Chris. Is there a better option on traveling on adventuring food?
Nope.
Not that we're aware of.
We take chickens with us and a cow.
And how much food can we take? For how long? Conventional rations that we could buy here.
Oh, conventional rations.
Or the lightest rations we could find.
Say again?
The lightest rations we're able to find here.
You wouldn't be able to get waybread, but you would be able to get the others on that list.
Great bread?
Yes.
That'd be great. Which is 1 week for 1 week's rations preserved 4 pounds. So it's down to what we can carry, right? Down to our carrying capacity is how much food we can take.
Correct.
So what we need to do then is get rid of all this stuff that we're carrying.
Yep. So stash it, or
can we ask Maisie if she'll stash it for us?
Could do, although it's I mean, it's clearly very valuable. That's the thing. We haven't come across a bank in town, have we?
You didn't see one.
Ask Maisie if there's a bank in town.
Give me a roll, please. Let me know if it's under 15%. 15.
Under 15? 18.
18. No. She says you're after a bank.
Yeah, somewhere. We're just considering how long it might take to jump to another city and back, and I wonder if there was sort of any kind of insert timely jargon for safe deposit box or equivalent of.
Port Solomon might have something. Yes, I'm sure Port Solomon does.
Oh, really? Where's that? Close by.
Port Solomon is... Hang on. Just coming. Hang on. Oops. Oops.
Is there going to be a bank behind the curtain?
Hang on a sec. No, it's not. Yeah, I just managed to mess up my little thing. Here we go. We'll do that. Oh, God damn it. Full screen. No. Guys, just having technical difficulties. Yes, okay. Yep. There we go. Coming up on screen now. So you do, by the way, have, you may recall, or you may or may not recall, you have this very old map that's Tanya's benefactor, Ningwen, gave to you. Is the knowledge of how much was known about Turong 100 or so years ago. So it may not still be current, but now this is the tricky bit. Can I zoom in on this? Yes, I can. That's great. Ras Garrett's here. Port Solomon's here.
I can't
No,
see
you
that.
can't. No, you can't. You can't because I haven't. Yeah, you got to tell me, guys, if you can't see, because I forget to switch it over. There we go. Okay, you can see now. You should be able to see now.
Yes, we could see this before. It's just when you zoomed, it went sort of behind the Discord chat part of the screen.
Let's see. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, we can't see them now because they've sort
really?
of gone behind. We can't see because you've got the split screen and Discord is.
Got it.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Yep, that's it.
Perfect.
Yep. So Port Solomon is the major port around here. It's down the coast.
Where's Ras Garrett?
Here, where it says Ras Garrett.
I just can't read that. That's all. How many days travel?
Yeah, I really wish you weren't going to ask me that because I've been trying to find out the answer to that question.
Or just jump.
I'm thinking with 4 hours, Chris.
Or
4
you can
hours
jump.
in the box is fine.
Jump. Or just jump.
But if we have to jump, it might take us a week to wait, right?
Hang on.
So if we can
Hang on. Been searching my notes for the last 5 minutes to find the answer to that question. There we go. Okay, cool. So it is... it is 150 miles, or about 7.5 days to travel there. There is no teleportation device in Port Solomon. It is conventional travel to get there.
Right.
Can I just check? With the arrangements Maisie was going to make using navigator stones, my understanding would be, whilst it might take X amount of days to more than 4 days to arrange, the travel would be, it wouldn't take that many days to arrange our travel back. We would say we go there on once the travel's arranged, we go there 1 day, perhaps spend 1 more day there, but that would be it. Then, because all travel arrangements are arranged in the same sort of arrangement, aren't they? We would let them know we want to travel there for 1 day and travel back the very next day, or even the same day. So it won't take 2 weeks to go to Ionia. It would just be 1 week. That's my point.
It depends.
Right.
We are talking of a fantasy world where, unlike the modern world, where things happen at the right times, and we have clocks and things like that. There are delays. There are things that happen sometimes. So there could be, but in theory, at least less time coming back.
Cool.
Yep, there might be a delay of a couple of days. It's unlikely that you'll be able to do everything instantaneously in one day, but yes, definitely less time coming back for sure.
But that would be known because we make the arrangement there and back in one. We ask them to arrange everything, but the return trip might not. Yeah, gotcha. Yep. Okay. All right, so we've got two options. We either wait for, and we don't know, it's going to be more than 4 days, but we don't know how long to get to Ionia, or 2 weeks, 1 week to Port Solomon, 1 week back.
Well, I don't think we want to do that. We don't want to. I mean, God knows we'll meet on the way there and the way back. I mean, we took 3 days to walk across a short distance, and everything. We came across every couple of hours. Something tried to eat us. So, I mean, 2 weeks of that, forget it.
This will be more travelled road though, right? This is not wilds. This is what might be wild. It'd be easy peasy, just peaceful.
Yeah.
This is a colony of Thrace. So again, can I zoom in with? I don't think I can move it. So I can zoom in, but I can't move it. Is that it? Yeah. Can I do it one more time? So your trip, you've probably figured out this much. Ras Garrett is there. The border of Turong is there. The Vale of Whispers is, somewhere here-ish. The green is a colony of Thrace. Where you were travelling, of course, is no man's land. But to your point, it's a border colony of Thrace. You've never been here before. You don't know how wild or otherwise it is, but it's at least a colony of Thrace rather than the wilds, the no man's land of where you were talking about. What do you do? What do you say to Maisie?
Well, I don't think we want to spend 2 weeks doing that, do we, really?
Oh, no. When will we find out how long it'll take for her to make the arrangements?
Yeah, I'm now really kicking myself for asking for that role.
Yeah. Because that really determines what we plan to do. If you know what I mean? Like, realistically.
Tomorrow. Should make some inquiries.
Okay.
Well, I mean, I suppose if we... alternative is we keep our stuff, we hire pack animals, load them with as much food as we can eventually carry. We head back to the Vale. We say cheerio to our guides, keep the pack animals. We go on past the village into the forest. We bury all our stuff in a place that we can find again. We then, with the extra baggage allowance after burying all that stuff, we load ourselves with the food, and then we go back into the chamber that way and set the pack animals free. And that means that to get that stuff, we have to come back to this place again to pick it up somewhere down the line. Or we just lose a week, do all that stuff. Yeah. Them's the choices. Any thoughts?
Are we that worried about this stuff? Like, is it like we have to not come back for it? Do we care?
Well, it's potentially worth quite a lot of money.
Okay. Having explored all the options, Graham, I think your first one's the best one. Then we wait, we jump, we sell. I think you're right. get the coin. We might need a bunch of it later on.
And obviously the amount, I mean, no pressure. The amount we get for this is down to Yotto's trading ability, obviously. So it's up to you.
Okay, total change of plan, then ditch the stuff.
Does Yotto speak Thebronic? Oh no, that's right. We decided that the earbuds are only for an hour, and trading's longer than that, so no good.
He's pretty crappy at the Bronic.
Okay. Right. So I reckon the plan for in-game now is we wait one day, and wait, like the guy. That's what I think I would do. Find out how long arrangements are going to take, and then either do the stash plan or go to Gibionia. That's what I reckon.
Unless there's somewhere more local that she can arrange more quickly. For us
Put
to
that
jump
to her.
and jump back. So that A may have a bank, B may have a trader, and we just do the whole thing as planned, except it's somewhere more local. I guess I could ask that question anyway.
Yep, great idea.
So Chris, Severin will ask, appreciate, if in terms of time and arrangements, is there somewhere sort of more local, that could be a big city that would have sort of places we can trade and so forth, that is easier for you to arrange than somewhere obviously you have very little knowledge of?
She pauses and says some of the free cities to the north might be possible. There's a free city of Jebai Rima. I've seen people do before in the past.
Jebai Rima. Interesting.
Just 1 second, guys. Just a sec. Hang on. So tell me exactly, she says, what is it you seek? What type of, why are you wanting to go to a destination? And perhaps I can help more.
So kind of threefold. One is to trade some stuff that we've been carrying for some time now, just to free ourselves of it. Secondly, so we can purchase. We'd like to undertake quite a long expedition, so we would like a more efficient food stuff that meant that we could carry it for an extended period, yes, and the added bonus for place of learning. That's not essential, but yeah.
Okay. So she's musing on this, and she says, "Well, I of course know what I know, and I know the areas that I know, and the way I work and the way that the services that I offer are based on what my sector commander tells me. My knowledge is... Appreciate it's not on this map. My knowledge... What's a better map? Let's see if I've got a better map. Yes, we'll use this. So my knowledge is this area here. This is all Thracian land, of course. These are wilds in this area. I mean, Dransfeld might be possible, but again, just a second, guys. GM just has to get some of his thoughts in order. Because you were meant to do something else. Let's have a look. Yes. So she says, in terms of where I can assist, it's going to come down to my immediate knowledge of the area and where I have been able to effectively send people in the past. So that may help. It also, as I mentioned before, however, yes, there may be a certain degree of local knowledge where I've sent people before and wherever I have existing contacts. That's part of it, but also it's just down to pure luck. It all depends on whether or not the people that I know are available and whether or not they can cater to having a guest or somebody at that time, and also whether or not if you're I'm assuming you are talking about using magical means to travel there, a navigator stone rather than conventional means. I just want to establish that. Is that right?
Correct, yep.
Okay. So my knowledge is around this area. So this is all Thracian lands. The availability of where there are navigator columns, there are several in Gaul. Waywell beneath the arch is one place that is a familiar name to you and your characters. There isn't one in the large town or the large city of Dransfeld, nor is there one in Port Solomon. There are several up on this coast, 2 Thracian towns up on this coast where there are navigator columns. Further north is into the Landeveld Strait area. I mentioned Jibai Rima, which is up here, and I have sent a number of people there before. There are several dotted in and around here, but they tend not to be free cities. The one free city that there is no, that's not. Yes, there are no navigator columns immediately in the Landeveld Strait that are in free cities or larger cities that I'm aware of anyway. That I have sent people to. There might be others, but I would need to check, and that would be random. So I can make some investigations, but I don't know if time is a consideration. I don't know whether or not my options are going to be faster or better than sending you down to Thibron.
Because we've been to the place for the arch, haven't we? So I don't think we're wanted as felons there, are we?
That's where the Joyful Butchers were before, where we met your mum.
Yeah. I mean, we could try there. It's as good as anywhere, I guess.
It feels like such a long time ago. Yeah. What was Waywell beneath the arch? Was that a decent sized city? It had banks.
You don't know, but yeah, it was a decent sized city. Yep.
Well, if we're going to trade, we don't. Oh, almost. Yeah. We'll probably trade though if we went there. Right?
If you know the language, yeah.
What was the language?
That was Westron. If someone has a trade, so things to bear in mind is the person who's doing the trading needs to be able to speak the language.
Yeah, so something Yodo's going to need to do over time is be better at languages. The only thing he speaks to 5 is Larthing and Sindarin. And he speaks South Tongue to 4, so he's not very articulate.
Right.
We could try going to an elven city where they speak Sindarin. No, sorry, it'll take ages to arrange travel.
Does it take a different length of time to travel to different cities using these little black rod things?
No.
So is there a reason we can't use the black rod thing to travel to an elven city?
Not a.
If you know,
Just
We're just looking at cut time.
It's how long the time that it takes to use them is Maisie's time to arrange.
correct, right? So it doesn't
Yeah.
matter where we go if we're going to use it. We can go anywhere. The length of time is the same, right?
No, that's the thing. She might. That's what the randomness of that role is. Oh, it's about how can she contact people there? Are there people available there? All of that sort of thing. So
totally stupid about this. I just presumed that it was irrespective of where, as opposed to for a specific place. Okay,
no, I think each specific place would require a different role for depending on the arrangements she.
Okay.
Yeah,
Okay,
I think.
so okay.
Sorry, Chris. I'm speaking for you. But
Is that right, Chris?
is what right?
That if Maisie knows places well, arranging to use the Traveller Stone is quick, and if she knows nothing about them at all,
No, she just said it might be quicker, but no guarantees. It just depends on what's happening. Lots of different moving parts and lots. Yeah, it might be quicker.
Nicholas had whispered to Severin or whatever. Does she have any suggestions? Is there something we're overlooking?
Severin says, "Do you have any suggestions? Is there anything I'm going to look at?"
You're wanting to. So she's looking a little bit puzzled. She's saying you want to sell things or bank things and buy whey bread or.
That's both. Yeah. So we looking to quickly sell some stuff, get some whey bread for a journey. But I guess we're trying to think of the quickest way of doing that.
Well, you could certainly try Port Solomon. You would be able to find whey bread there. I'm sure there are certainly certainly a larger. I'm going on what I know. I've been to Port Solomon. I've never been to anywhere else. I've only ever been to Port Solomon. But it's a larger city. It's and there are elven traders and other traders there. So I would feel comfortable in saying that there would be whey bread there. In terms of banking facilities, yes, a number of the major Thracian banks and others have at least one or two banks are there, I believe. That would be one suggestion. Going to yes, it depends on if there are other considerations about where you need to go and what you need to do. I don't know enough about, and nor do I necessarily need to know about what other considerations you may have about secrecy or otherwise. But if you're certainly wanting wealthier places, it's not in this part of the world. We are somewhat of a backwards. She looks a little bit almost embarrassed here. We're not known for the bright lights and the excitement in this part of the world. This is a somewhat forgotten Thracian colony, and so they say the major activity, the major commercial activity, they say. She kind of, her eyes kind of glitter a bit. Banshiba or some of those seas to the south. She kind of says it in a way that's almost like those kind of fancy, highfalutin places elsewhere. And she kind of says when seas to the south, she's a bit dismissive. She doesn't know quite where they are.
No, that's absolutely fine. Yeah, it's just time, obviously, to go to Port Solomon. You mentioned doesn't have a navigator stone, so that would take obviously quite a long time to get there and back. So, unfortunately, I don't think that's an option.
I can certainly arrange for you to go to this place, Jevaionia, if you wish. I can arrange for you to go anywhere. I just haven't travelled much.
No, I know.
And And I would need to make some investigations to find out where might be a suitable place. I'm only going on my knowledge.
Of course. Yes, no, thank you. You're very helpful. So, what do you think, gang? What do you want to do? What do you want to do?
Yeah, I reckon.
Yeah, we spent an hour and a half talking about this. Let's go.
Yeah, agreed.
Absolutely.
All right.
Maybe you can. Do you want to play? Do we have to play this in game, Chris? Like in terms of all this stuff, or? I mean, the going
sorry,
to the town.
all this stuff.
No, they're going to the town and doing the bargaining and coming back. Is that do we play that in game, or can we?
I'll tell you the story. Sure.
Okay.
Yep. So that's a decision.
Sure.
Yeah. So so a lot of discussion, just as Giles has just said. So, do you have a decision? What do you tell your host, please?
Plan A.
Plan A. After. Okay, great. So she says, "Let me make some inquiries, and I will let you know." Assume that over this time as well, while she's making investigations for you, as discussed, definitely out of game, any mundane shopping that you want to do, please note it down. Please let me know. Yeah, maybe I'm just trying to think of the best and most convenient way to do this. Yeah, maybe have a think and jot me a message into the WhatsApp with what you're planning on getting, and then mark it off in the XP sheet as per normal. Is that good, guys?
In WhatsApp, Chris, not Discord.
One last thing. We're going to need the trader that speaks.
Hang on, Graham. It's just answering Giles's question. Look, if we're playing a game, put it into put it into Discord. You're right, Graham. Sorry, Giles, put it into Discord. Discord of what you're planning on purchasing, and then into the spreadsheet to mark it off. Yes, Graham. Hello.
Sorry, we are going to have to specify a trader that speaks. What's your best language? South Tongue.
So he speaks Lothing to 5, Vastenspec to 5, which I think is a trading language. South Tongue to 4, and Sindarin to 5. And actually, clearly, what I need to do in downtime is Yodo needs to sit down with someone and practice his language skills. But I'll get to that when we get a chance.
So, yeah, I think if we could specify a trader with one of those 3 languages to 5 would be great.
Okay. So she takes all of your travel requests. She takes any requests of purchasing. So jot that, yes, as you said, Giles, jot that please into Discord of what you'd like to do. What do you do for the remainder of the day, please?
Yoto wants to sit down with someone who's good at Thrabonic. In fact, or any of these languages and practice if someone's got time. And in fact, he's just always going to do that now if there's spare time.
Yeah, agreed. Nicholas is the same. Nicholas has got Thrabonic spoken to 7, so he can talk with Yoto, but Nicholas would be keen to talk with Herodanian and with Jada. But I think in general, we're a group decision to keep a low profile and just stay inside. Are we all happy with that?
Yeah, fine. Yeah.
And Eskel's got 7 in Herodanian and Thrabonic as well, so happy to bounce those languages around.
So general study for going up levels.
Okay.
And we may as well finish the attunement stuff we were going to do as well.
Okay, great. So any attunements, you will have ample time, and so assume that you get the +5 onto any rolls because you've spent more than 4 hours looking over it. I'll go through each character of what they want to attune or learn or speak or whatever. Actually, let's do that right now. So staring at my screen, first person is Askell. So over the next period of time, Askell, what's his plans?
So he'll be working with Yotto around some of the language learning.
Yep.
But when he's not doing that with Nicholas, he wants to ideally, if the glasses are available, he needs help from Nicholas to attune the glasses.
Okay.
And then he would like to learn one of the slates, specifically weapon mastery.
Mm-hmm.
And bit of Pictionary, if people are up for that too.
Bit of Pictionary.
Nice. Nicholas is happy to help with teaching.
Okay, cool. Let's go. So I'll get a laundry list of what people want to do, and then let's do the roles, and then I'll just give a bit of narration of what happens. Let's go that way. Super. Pete, you're next on my screen. What's Nicholas's plan for the next number of days?
Yep. Doing the spell list, his own spell list learning, language learning, skill learning for going up level.
Mm-hmm.
The one item I think he hasn't attuned that he would like to, just sort of double checking here, is the beacon rod.
Mm-hmm.
So he'd need to, I believe, Jada fully attuned that, so he'd be keen to have a wee teaching session with Jada if she's willing, and he is happy to do any teaching sessions for attunement with anyone who requests it at any
Okay,
time.
cool. Great, thank you. And Yotto?
He's going to find either one. I mean, actually, learning languages in a group is a good way of doing it. And I would have thought, I'm happy to take your advice here, Chris. 5 languages, he must be relatively adept at learning. So he'd want to learn as much. I mean, he's keen on learning Duyranaki, I think.
Yeah. So when he goes...
And so he wants to sit down and essentially do some learning.
Great. So when he goes up a level, noted. He's started that conversation in game, and he can pick it up. Great. Cool. Jada?
She wants to learn her brilliance spell.
Okay.
And I think Nicholas wanted help attuning, and if anyone needs language support, then I'm keen to do that too.
You are Duolingo. Excellent. Okay, cool. And Graham, for your 2 characters, please.
Finishing off the totem and the leather coat, as noted.
Cool. Great. Okay, let's start with those 2 roles, Graham. So automatic +5. So assumed that you've all spent ample amount of time, and that you've all been, and there's no need to roll for the length of time that it takes to attune, because you definitely have got enough time. So can you please? Here is my masked list. There's my masked list. Which one are you doing first, Graham?
Severin first.
Severin first. Give me a roll.
29.
29. Okay. 29 +5 for plenty of time, plus 75 for Nicholas's kind assistance, -9. And then that negative. That, I am very happy to say, Severin, I can't find the spell sound effects quickly, but very happy to say, maybe I can. Success. You have learnt how to attune yourself to this quite strange totem, and procuring some strong twine, etc., will mark down an appropriate amount of money for that. Would be relatively easy to locate. Done. Great. The leather coat, please.
28.
28. Okay. And again, what is Tanya's skill with intuition and whatever the other one was, empathy?
+5.
+5.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay. Even though she's not skilled in it. Cool.
No. Intuition and empathy.
Right. So -25 is -20.
Oh, sorry. I thought you wanted my intuition and empathy bonus.
Yeah, but I'm trying to get the skill that she has in attunement.
I see.
Yep.
I don't think she has attunement. No.
Correct.
Hang on. Let me
Correct.
just double check.
So she has -25, offset by her stats.
Yeah.
Which is? Hello?
Hello.
Yeah,
Hi.
Yep.
Sorry. Yeah, that was 28 she rolled.
No. What I'm trying to figure out is she has negative 25 for
Yep.
not having a skill and attunement.
Yes.
Did you say her average bonus for her stats is +5? Is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Right, okay, so she's got negative 20 to the roll. Thank you. Got it. Cool. And she rolled a 30...
28.
28, thanks. Plus, she's given 75 plus 5. She gets a on her first attempt to get her head around it, she gets a near success. Doesn't quite get it. Whoever was trying to assist her with the code doesn't quite click. But you can try again in 2 hours' time, so you have another 2 hours after that with a +10 bonus. Give me a roll, please.
60.
60. +10, +25, +5. Yeah. No, you're really struggling with this, Tanya. You thought you had it, and I'm afraid it's going to have to take a few more days for you.
Okay.
Yes. It just doesn't quite click, I'm afraid. Shada, were you making any rolls?
I'm going to help attune the gauntlet, so I have to roll for that.
No.
Oh, what?
Have you attuned to the gauntlet? You're going to help someone else use it? Oh, you're going to attune to the gauntlet. Sure. Done. Great.
Yeah.
Give me a roll, please.
Nicholas is helping because
Yeah,
he attuned it.
Cool.
Oh, because you learned today. Yeah. 99.
99. Okay. What's her skill and attunement?
68.
68. Yep. Plus-
60. Yeah, 68.
Plus 75 for assistance from Nicholas. Plus 5 because you spent more hours doing it. Couple of negatives on there. Absolute success.
Yay.
Jada, you learn how to use that item successfully. You are now attuned to that gauntlet.
Fantastic.
You can use it at will.
Thank you.
Any other rolls as needed?
I'm just learning a spell list.
Yep, sure.
Anyone
No
want me to
need.
learn language?
No need to roll for either of those. You just need to let me know which you've done. Great.
Okay.
Yoto.
Yeah, you probably asked me what I'm up to, Chris. Language learning.
Cool. Nicholas.
Attunement on the beacon rod, assisted by Jada, please.
Give me a roll.
D100. Fingers crossed. It's like the third time he's tried. 83.
83. 83. Yep. What's his bonus?
Plus 66.
That one is finally successful. Finally.
Thanks, Jada. Awesome. Thank you. I think that was it for him.
Super.
Yay.
And Askell, any rolls for you?
So I was working with Nicholas to tune the glasses.
Sure. Done. Same process. Give me a roll.
Roll 37.
37. Cool. And what's a skill?
He has no skill in
Okay.
attunement.
Yep. So as we did with Severin, you need to let me know what his modifier is then, please. So that's as we just did with Severin. It's negative 25 for no skill, offset by, what did we say, empathy and intuition goes? Yep, lovely.
-8.
-8.
+8, sorry.
+8?
+8, so +8 off the -25 is 17. -17.
-17, thank you. Perfect. Wow. That was a good roll of attuning. Success. So you, Askell, now have your eyes attuned to, where are we? I can't see the
Arcana?
words. Sorry?
Attuned to Arcana.
Yes, indeed. So you can use those spectacles. Now, you're the only one at the moment that's attuned to that device. Other people can't use it, but you can absolutely start studying that spell list, which you duly do. Excellent. Any other roles that we need to do? Anything we need to talk about? Nope. Okay. Bit of narration from me. And I will, at your... I was planning to anyway, Graham, but at your request, I will do some narration and move things forward. So, a number of days pass, and you are located in the safe house. Yoren's injuries get progressively better over the next few days. Your host is very kind and very attentive, and you find yourself actually quite enjoying your accommodation here. Interest in you seems to have waned over the next few days. You hear via Maisie that there is no further leads on anything to do with the tragic death of the young woman several days ago, the horrific death of the young woman several days ago. People are still very interested, but with your characters not leaving the house, the interest certainly in the house seems to have waned. You are very comfortable where you are, as mentioned, and the weather it does seem to be just very, very stable and pleasant here. Never especially cold, never especially warm. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 days pass, and on the 6th day, a bad thing happens. The bad thing is something you're expecting. And the bad thing is Year's End's day. It is the final day of the year. And previously, the 23rd of Moons, which you may recall, Askell, was the date when you were out doing your various activities in Jebai Ritana, is a very inauspicious day. So the Festival of the Cold Moons is, the description of it is, most people consider this day, which the elves call Charamenus, to be a dire one of ill omens and ill spirits. The somber, quiet festival held each year on this night are full of rituals to ward away evil, to think about lost ones, and to appreciate one's living family and friends. The elves, however, see this night as one of rejuvenation and rebirth, of good omens, not bad ones. They also hold festivals on this night, but their celebrations of life and joy. So that was the Festival of Cold Moons. Year's End's Day, which is happening, reads as follows. If the Festival of Cold Moons is a dire time, Year's End is worse. It is considered a wholly unlucky day with no redeeming value, as the luck and goodness of the year has been all used up. No marriages, no celebrations, and no meetings are ever scheduled on Year's End Day. Most people stay home. And that's exactly what happens. Ras Garrett goes almost completely and utterly... Where's my little sound effects? Almost completely and utterly silent. I'm not going to actually reduce the sound effects, but it's quiet. There's no word from outside. There are no voices in the streets. It's quite an eerie and quite an oppressive day, and you all are naturally quiet. All of your cultures will, probably with the exception of Yotto. Oh no, Yotto would celebrate. No, be aware of it at least. All of you are just quite quiet and introspective on that particular occasion. Just came off. Oh, Yotto, you just came off mute. Did you? No, you want to say something? Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
he's a Grav. He'd celebrate like all elves do, but he'd be respectful of his party members.
Sure. The next day is quite the contrary. The first day of the new year. So it's called New Year's Day. The first day of the new year is one of celebrations and good tidings. People reflect on the good things that happened in the previous year, but mostly focus on the potential for the coming of optimism and hope. Babies born on this day are often considered lucky, but not extraordinarily so, unlike the cursed children born one day earlier. And there are quiet celebrations in Ras Garrett this day, perhaps with the horrific murder some week and a half, 2 weeks back, perhaps a little bit more muted, but people are obviously excited about the new year. It is the new year. The year now is 1787, and day zero, you are told, is some 2 and a bit months away. So you believe. Time passes, and another 4 days go past. You've continued attuning. You're now getting a little bit anxious and a little bit antsy. You've been cooped up in this place now for going on for about 8 or 9 days. By your counts, and Maisie, by the way, has come and gone. She's provided meals. She's told you that it's actually going to be a few more days. She was initially expecting it was going to be 7, but she thinks it's going to be a couple more days to get the answers back that she needs. She has told you that the challenge is finding somebody in your destination who can speak the bizarre languages that you speak. Because down south, the languages that Yotto described are relatively uncommon, even Sindarin. So that is one of the major sticking points. You wait, Severin. By the way, by your count, on the 4th, you think that was probably the day that your mother was due back in town. That Elka Blatlander was due to be back. That was 3 weeks after her investigations out into no man's land. Any actions, anything you should be aware of? Today is now the 5th, by the way, the day after the 4th.
He doesn't really know where she is, though, does he? Oh, at the key at the.
Yes.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, he's going to want to see her. So I think, although it's going to be a bit difficult, he's going to want to see her for sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
What does he do?
So I guess he would go down to the where the joyful butchers are.
Okay.
Is there rather than going up to the door and knocking? I mean, is there any kind of what's opposite the entrance?
So you're located up here. This is the safe house, quite close up to the walls. The H is the Butcher's HQ, this building here in grey. If we zoom in, do you go by yourself, and are you armed, is a question I'd like to know.
Can you remind me of the norms of this place?
It's a frontier town, and people do carry swords.
Yeah, so he'll he won't necessarily, not going to take his pack or anything, but he'll keep his sword in its sheath. Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, there is the main entrance that he's seen. Doesn't appear to be a back door. You may remember.
Oh no. Sorry, I mean, what opposite the front door?
Accommodation, people's houses.
All right, so there's nowhere to sit out or anything. No.
Yeah, there's
trading.
There's a couple of kind of upturned barrels on a nearby shaded street. Yeah, there's somewhere you can loaf around.
Yeah, so he'll loaf around and polish something.
Okay. Okay.
Pick
Does
his
it-
teeth. I don't know, something. Look like he's busying himself or something.
Okay. Does anybody else go with him?
Yeah, I think Tanya will. And she'll just stay at a distance so she can see him again. If there's a bar that she can. There's a table and chairs sitting outside. She can read a newspaper.
Yeah. Okay.
Always thanks.
Yep. Got it. Yeah. So you're on your Severin and Tanya are located there. You wait. What are you waiting for?
Well, I just want to be seen. So if she comes in through the front door, she'll see me.
Sure.
Likewise, if she comes out, she'll likely see me. I'm aware that she doesn't really want a connection to be known, so it's more like, "Hey, I'm here," rather than
Yep.
wave and
Sure.
Cooey.
Yep. Sure. No sign of Alka. There are certainly plenty of people walking around with the badge of the Joyful Butcher. You'll remember it's. Why do I never have the? There we go. The Joyful Butcher symbol on their tunics. Some of them wear a tabard, some kind of vaguish thing to a uniform, but all of them will have that on them, and then they're quite easy to identify versus the uniform of the Thracian soldiers. But no sign of Elk Flatlander.
Not big music lovers, huh?
What's that? Yeah.
Not good music. Not big music.
Not really. Not really.
Take that, your harp.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Well, if there's nothing happens, he'll come back.
Okay. There's a number of these guys dicing reasonably close to Severin. They're out in the street and they're rolling some dice, by the way, and drinking.
Oh, he'll engage some in casual conversation.
Okay.
Just shoot. He's kind of he's a ex-military man. He'll get into an idle conversation about whatever it is that he thinks he can find in common with these people, and just shoot the breeze with them. Get friendly.
Okay.
And I guess without being obvious, whenever's talking about something else, and they'll say, "Hey, I hear there's some horrible business in town the other day. What was all that about?"
Yeah, awful. One of the garrison sergeant's daughters, nice young thing, was cut up. Just horrific. Yeah, some cult, some talking about some dark gods or something. I don't know.
Bloody hell! Well, from where? From around here? Are there culty?
Don't know, friend. The person speaking kind of looks Severin up and down. I don't know. These savages, and he kind of spits. And he's clearly referring to the locals. I don't know. They believe in all kinds of crazy stuff, from what I've seen. Can't wait to get out of this place myself. You're on mute, Graham.
So without wanting to look like he's pressing the guy, he'll let conversation flow normally and sort of say, I thought, what are your guys' sort of mission down here? I thought you were kind of sort of sent Joyful Butchers. I've heard of you. You kind of go on these. He'll impress them by saying, "Hey, I hear you've done amazing exploits here, there, and there," and make him feel good about being part of the Joyful Butchers. And he say, "Oh, what's the gig here then? What do you got to do?"
Oh, we do the stuff that the Thracians don't want to do. We go out on patrols. We go out into the wilds. We're contractors, right? We do all the the dirty jobs that those. You're not Thracian, are you?
No. I'm up near. I'm a northerner, but not Thracian.
Oh, good. Yeah. Look, we do all the stuff the Thracians don't like to do. All the scouting, all the stuff out into no man's lands, that kind of stuff. The forays against the tribes people when they revolt, that kind of thing. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, good, good. No, I hope it's going well. Came through. Where was I? And he'll give the name of the arch place.
Mm.
I think you guys. Yeah, I came. I think you guys had sort of cleared out by the time I went through there. I thought I narrowly missed you up north. Was some big battle or something? I don't know. I didn't hear the end of it.
Yeah. Yeah. The Iron Lady, she fucked up there. She did
Oh,
fuck
really?
up there. Mm.
Oh, were you there?
I wasn't. I was down here for my sins, which are obviously multiple. But yeah, Alk didn't do a good job, they say.
Who's Iron Lady? Crikey, who's that?
Alk Flatlander is her name.
Oh yeah, is she? Oh, is she your commander here then?
She was. She commanded us all for a time. She's good.
Oh,
She's good.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, she. I wasn't there, but according to the boys that were, she screwed up royally. Made a horrific mistake, and no, she's on the out. That's what they say.
She. She's gone. She's been packed off, has she?
They say she's gone AWOL. She was meant to go out. Yeah, the say she's gone AWOL. She was meant to go out and do some mission out into no man's land, they say, and she's meant to be back recently in the last couple of days. They sent some scouts out, and there's no trace of it, or the 500 men she took either. There's rumours that she started up her own little private army.
Blimey. Well, sounds like your best shot of her.
No, she's gone. I don't know. She was good at the time, but yeah. You know, other things. Morlock, he's our man. He's our man now.
Oh, he's your commander, is he?
Yeah, good guy.
Yeah.
Good guy.
Is he a good guy? Oh, cool. Was he? Is he a local or he's from?
No. I tried to remember where he's from. I don't know. But he's a good bloke. Yeah.
Oh, good. Good with the sword, I hope.
Gotta be an outline of work, mate.
Damn right. Yeah, I wish. Anyway, he'll that's fine. He won't conclude the conversation there. He'll just shoot the breeze for a bit and then sort of backslaps and be on his way.
Yep.
Right. So yeah, Severin go back and just explain to the others that he thinks when no one can overhear, thinks that his mother's sounds like she's absconded with her own band and is somewhere, doesn't know where.
Nicholas would respond to that and just check that Severin's okay with that and follow up that, at some point does he want to pursue her? I mean, probably not right now. We've got other arrangements, but... There, Graham?
Hello, Graham. Hello? Hello, Graham. And you seem to have lost Graham.
Sorry, I went on freeze again. She didn't. I mean, if she didn't, I don't. From our conversation, I don't think I had a means of contacting her. Did I?
No.
No.
She was going to see you back here in 3 weeks.
If I guess, depending on how long it. I mean, if we know we've got a couple of days, he might kind of truck about, maybe outside the town. But obviously, he doesn't. If we've got a date to catch, then. But if he's told by Maisie we've got a couple of days, then he might go outside the city.
Okay. So she informs you that a little bit delayed because of the requirements of languages. But actually, when you come back to inform your companions of this news about Alp Flatlander going AWOL with 500 men, Maisie has some good news tomorrow, going to the navigator column and able to move on from there.
All right, sounds good.
Okay. And it's going on for 12:30. I'm conscious, Anthony. I think you've got to head away. Is that right?
Yeah. So the game kicks off at 1, so I was gonna jump off.
Okay.
Then.
Okay. Cool. Oh, well, have we got a little bit longer then? For me to...
Yeah.
Okay.
I mean, that's. I mean, I can jump off, but
Yep.
I don't know. What's that?
No,
15, 20 minutes.
Yep.
And
Okay.
and you've got your activity as well.
Yes, I do. Okay. Super. So just to move things forward a little bit, you... That is the sounds of your characters leaving Ras Garrett and traveling somewhere quite different. Now you're told by Maisie that unfortunately, because of the lay of where the navigator stones are, and stupidly, Giles, you were talking about a rod. These are definitely not rods. Let's just see if I can find... I would like to show an image of one, just so you've got it in your head. Where is it? Oh. From past images, there we go. Is it this one? Yeah, I think we're good. Yes, there we go. Cool. So definitely for your benefits, Giles, they're not a rod. They're these massive black columns, and they are ancient. They've been here forever, as far as the world understands, and they are dotted around select locations, completely random patterns right across this good earth, and often, not always, but often in and around the area that these columns are located, there is often a source of something quite powerful or major, often a city sometimes they're a site of potent magic. And no one really knows exactly how they work, but they seem to be connected up to flows of essence, flows of hugely powerful, almost like lines of magic. Think of ley lines, perhaps, in our own world. And by putting your hand on one of these and saying in any language, "I require a navigator," somebody appears, and they have different guilds across the world that have split up the world from a commercial basis of who gets to transport people around. Maisie, very fortunately, is your go-between, and she arranges with the person that arrives, a very, very well-dressed gentleman in scarlet robes and with bright red hair. Don't have to have an image of him. An elven gentleman. She has a quiet word with him, and you are indeed transported dramatically via this noise to another place, I should say. And you find yourself here. Oh, what I meant to say, sorry. Maisie has informed you that with your transportation, there isn't one of these black stones that you can see up on screen, actually located in Ionia. There just isn't one there. There is, however, one just across the water, some 5 or 6 hours via boat, and she has arranged travel for you to travel to this navigator column and then on to Ionia. And that's exactly what happens. So with the jump, you find yourself in something similar to with that black column. You're greeted by this woman here, who who tells you her name is Lida. She doesn't say very much, and she speaks in a strangely accented Thebronic. When you speak to her, you are very much reminded of one of your former old companions, the former soldier by the name of Demos. The way that she speaks and the intonation of her voice it absolutely reminds you of the way that Demos speaks. And she takes you out into one of the largest independent kingdoms, the Kingdom of Ionia. And it looks like this. People are wearing a little bit more, the clothes are a little bit more warmer than you see there, but definitely that style of loose, flowing robes, quite colourful in some cases, and then very, very beautiful architecture. Graceful columns, tree-lined streets, a lot of opulence, a lot of wealth, and you see a fair bit of magic being practiced. Some other scenes from Ionia. This is slightly around the corner from here. Not as many trees, and some other images of Ionia. These are some of the very grand both markets and key administrative buildings. And in fact, that building there with those columns is the building that you arrive in. All quite beautiful and quite ornate. Another image there. Bustling marketplaces and yes, extremely vibrant and extremely busy. You stay there a very short period of time, and I'm just realizing as the GM that there was one key thing that I should have organized and didn't, but that's okay. You notice there is a mixture of peoples. There are lighter skinned people that would resemble very much people like Demos, and reasonably taller people are roughly the same size, so lighter skinned, and they speak in Thebronic with the same kind of accent as Demos. There are also more stocky, more physically robust, slightly darker complexion people who remind you a lot of your former guide from the In-Between, Afsun. People that look a lot like her. And in terms of gods, we'll go back to that image that I showed you before. Here we go. The predominance of the gods are the 14. So the original gods of the old gods. So there are lots and lots of images. Hopefully you can see that. You can see lots of statues, very colourfully painted, of these kind of people. But quite bizarrely, there are also dotted around quite a few really unusual, to your eyes, really weird statues that look like this. Some strange dog-headed creature. This one here, very sinister looking one. And this figure here with two heads. A snake statue figures very prominently. And this one here with a horse's head. Very, very alien, very unusual to your eyes. Alien is definitely the best word. And they stick out quite markedly from the much more familiar old gods that you are used to and that many of you grew up with. You stay in this location, as I say, only a day, one night basically. The next day, your host, leader, has arranged transportation. You go down to quite beautiful docks, well appointed, very, very busy, hugely busy. Masses of ships coming in and out of this port. The docks themselves are huge. What's curious to your eyes is the relative lack of military infrastructure. Yes, there are battlements and there are fortifications, but commerce, absolutely making money, seems to predominate here, and there is definitely less of a focus on the military aspects. The language I should have mentioned, by far and away, the language is either Thebronic and very strangely accented, as I say, that they're similar to both Leader and Demos has spoken. And then these tongues that you haven't come across before. You just you just simply don't know. You are told by your host that these are the various tongues, and there are several of them, of the Pisanians, the lands, the Counterweight Island, the land of the Pisanians, which is called the Counterweight Island because it is so heavily laden down with gold and silver and other precious metals. In this world, you will often hear someone as wealthy as a Pisanian. They are, and clearly the wealth of Pisania has spread into Thibron. This is a very, very, very wealthy place. Opulence everywhere. You sail across the sea. The passage is quite easy. The sea is relatively calm. One thing to note: it's a little bit cooler down here. You find yourselves having to rug up. The items that people were wearing here, not quite accurate. You would be wearing that almost like toga-like garment, but definitely some kind of either fur or woolen top overhead. Not bitterly cold, but definitely cooler for sure. And all of your characters find yourselves putting on additional clothes. Heading across the sea, you find yourself finally into Jebai Ionia. And just to give you a sense of where in the world you are, here is the Sea of Thibron, Demos's homeland. Here's Ionia, the place that you are on. Jebai Ionia is a free city, which is just off the coast of Ionia, and is arguably one of the wealthiest free cities on the planet. Why? Along with them and Jebai Expass, because the wealth of the Pisanians flows in through these two narrow points, Jebai Expass and Jebai Ionia. And my goodness, Jebai Ionia is something to both see, hear, smell, and otherwise be enchanted by. And this is what you hear arrive. Very, very busy. A lot. If Ionia was busy, this place is absolutely heaving, and there is wealth aplenty here. Some images, similar to where you've just been, but slightly different. The slightly different is, The slightly different is there is much more in the way of the Pisanians, the Pisanian influence. Very colourful and bright, still a lot of Thebronic, but the money is definitely flowing here, and people are dressed in opulence and bright colours, and I'll read you out a quick description. You step into the streets of Jebai Ionia, the free city of wealth and power, where the scent of spiced wine and roasted meats mingled with the cool briny air drifting up from the further sea of Thibron. The cobbled streets, though well worn and uneven in places, are clean and lined with an abundance of leafy trees. Their canopies sway gently in the breeze. Grand fountains, and I have a couple of views here of some grand fountains. Grand fountains of polished marbles murmur with cascading water, their basins surrounded by people conversing in easy rhythmic tones of traders and scholars. The architecture surrounding you is a striking blend of two worlds. The soaring columns of whitewashed facades, reminiscent of Thebronic elegance, stand alongside the Pisanian structures adorned with golden filigree. And there's a chicken that I want to get rid of, which I'm just about to get rid of the chicken. Chicken is gone. Adorned with filigree, golden filigree, indicating tile work, domed rooftops. Though some buildings show the weathering of time, the wealth of the city is unmistakable. Market stalls overflow with fine silks, glistening jewelry, exotic goods, while shops, their open fronts, inviting display of artisans' works. You catch sight of woman behind a counter, weaving her fingers through the air. She whispers an incantation. The crack in a ceramic bowl before her vanishes as if it had never been. The people are no less varied in this city. Men and women in flowing togas, vibrant dyed robes stroll with easy confidence. Some draped in embroidered sashes or adorned with heavy gold jewelry. Others, of Pisanian heritage, wear robes of silk and brocade, their opulence reflected in their strange and elaborate hairstyles. Hair coiled into high spirals or sculpted into ornate waves, held in place with golden pins and gemstones. A few pannikins, draped in silken curtains, and carried by solemn-faced slaves, drift through the streets, like moving islands of privilege. The gods are present everywhere. Shrines and temples rise above the avenues, their carved facades depicting the familiar forms of the old gods. Aroher, Kamita, Apollo, and Aphrodite, each rendered in marble, their serene gaze watching over the city. The scent of fresh offerings, burning incense, ripe fruit, and flowers, fresh-cut flowers lingers in the air. Priests, white and saffron robes, move amongst the faithful, whispering prayers and accepting blessings. Yet, amid the familiar, there is also the alien. Another pantheon looms in the city, strange, unsettling, and unknowable. The walls of certain temples bear carvings of figures that seem to be almost grotesque in their unfamiliarity. A towering statue of a seated being with the head of a hound grins down at passers-by, its expression eerily jolliful yet cold. Another relief depicts a sinuous serpentine figure, its body coiled and twisted unnaturally, its forked tongue frozen in mid-hiss. Others stand in shadowy alcoves, their alien forms resisting easily a description. Figures with too many limbs, with blank, unseeing eyes, with hands raised in gestures that feel more like commands than benedictions. Their altars are all piled with strange offerings, bundles of herbs you do not recognize, the glistening of dark liquids and incense that burns with an acrid metallic tang. A stray cat weaving in between the legs of a merchant in deep argument with a robed Pisanian noble, while packs of lean, half-feral dogs in a patch of sunlight watch the street with half-lidded eyes. The hum of the city is constant, a blend of commerce, devotion, and distant music spilling out into shaded courtyards. Jebionia is alive, opulent, and steeped in history. Here, wealth moves like a tide, a power that is as much display as reality, and the gods, both known and unknown, watch with interest. And AI has even given me a quick piece of footage of Jebionia. There we go. You might note that AI hasn't quite figured out how to make human beings move, or what human beings' faces look like. But AI is now giving images, so there we go. That is Jebionia, and you were greeted when you arrived by your host, Lysandros Pirago, the Magnificent, he titles himself, this young man who appears quite full of himself, a trader that clears to be, to have ideas above his station. He takes you to his relatively mundane but perfectly pleasant house. There are a few servants that attend on you, and informs you the next day he has arranged for you to head to the Gilded Jackal, where the single trader that speaks the language. There are 2 trading houses that might be able to assist you. The Gilded Jackal, or the House of the Turning Flame. And both of those are extremely large and cater in the trade in both weapons, magical artifacts, and indeed precious metals, such as you're all carrying as per your request. But unfortunately, due to language restrictions, only the Gilded Jackal and its proprietor will be able to assist. The other house doesn't speak, only speaks the Bronic. Anything I need to know from any of the characters as you're welcomed in by Lysandros?
Can I just check, Chris? No one here speaks the trading language best in Spark.
No. Rust and Spark is thousands and thousands of miles to the north.
I think we'd obviously be very respectful, and we'd also be wearing our bestest clothes.
Mm-hmm. Not just the bestest, but the bestest.
Yeah, no, I don't know. That's what I mean. I've specifically brought up my bestest.
Okay.
Yeah, that'd be marvelous.
Okay. Anything I need to know? Any other actions? Anything I need to be aware of?
Yeah, I don't think Severin will be wearing that big totem either. That's a bit of a bit much.
Okay. Weapons, by the way, both in Ionia and certainly here, are odd. Most people are unarmed. Most people and people definitely take an interest in you guys stepping out of the portal armed for pure bloodshed. Longbows, nodachi, swords, daggers, you name it.
What about gauntlets?
Gauntlets are also an item of war, but yes. Anthony, you've come off mute. I'm assuming you're about to head away. Is that right?
No, it was Snap. I was literally just asked that question. Do people commonly wear weapons in around the city? So you just that one.
There you go.
Yes. Otherwise, I will jump off.
Cool. We are going to wrap pretty soon anyway, but yes, very good. Every now and then there might be a rapier, or a short sword, or perhaps a curved scimitar. You get the sense these are more an accessory, in the same way that Saurian might carry a nice handbag or a man bag or whatever. Warfare, bloodshed, and horrible things don't seem to be, from what you see, a particularly common feature in this part of the world. You do feel, by the way, all of you, Lyoto perhaps a little bit less, you do, particularly the Northerners, so Severin and Tanya, you do feel a little bit uncouth, perhaps. You look at the beautiful clothes that people are wearing and do consider your own heritage to the north being perhaps a little bit threadbare and a little bit, frankly, down at heel in comparison to the opulence that confronts you here. You're put up in Lysandros's comfortable enough accommodation, and the very next day you are taken here, the House of the Gilded Jackal. This is the interior, and I'll give you a little bit of a description. So, the Gilded Jackal stands prominently on a wide, bustling avenue on one of Ionia's grand market squares. Its facade is a mix of Thebronic and Pisanian style. White marble pillars adorned with gold inlay, supporting a broad stone archway covered with intricate images of jackals in motion, their forms twisting in strange, almost unnatural ways. Above the entrance, a hanging wooden sign bears the shop's name, gilded in real gold leaf, while below it, a small plaque shows an abstract sigil representing an open eye. Despite the welcoming grandeur, something about The dark iron-bound doors, so heavy and thick, they almost seem like a vault. Suggest that perhaps not all transactions here are strictly above board. Inside, the Gilded Jackal is a vast, cavernous hall, gleaming marble and sandstone with tall, fluted columns, supported a high vaulted ceiling. This is the image on screen. Sunlight pours through windows, illuminated row on row of polished wooden shelves, unlocked chest, each meticulously labelled. The scent of aged parchments, exotic oils, and the faint hint of metal polish, more than the faint hint of metal polish, fills the air. Despite the room's grand scale, the items within seem to close in around you. A maze of display cases holding rings and amulets. Heavy racks bristle with enchanted weapons, or of weapons at least. Polished suits of armor standing to attention like silent sentinels. Even in the well-maintained order, a few items tucked in the shadowy corners, however, remain conspicuously dusty, as though untouched for decades, or left alone on purpose. The lighting is warm but uneven, with certain corners always seeming just a little bit too dim. And you are welcomed by Damareron Zilros. Damareron Zilros is this man. Charming and good-looking. He is a striking figure, his features sharp and predatory, like a jackal in hunting form. His dark hair, streaked lightly with silver, is pulled back. His sea-green eyes glint with knowing amusement. It never quite reaches his smile. He wears fine Pisanian silks, embroidered with subtle gold patterns that hint at wealth, but also discretion. He moves with the confidence of a man who has nothing to fear. His voice is warm, smooth, and welcoming, but something in his tone makes every deal feel like a whispered secret. And he welcomes you warmly. He starts in a variety of languages and then settles on Thebronic, which seems to be a language that a number of you speak, and says the following. You are most welcome to the House of the Jackal Friends. I understand from our mutual counterparts, and he nods at this point to your host, that you have a variety of items that you're interested in trade. And I, as you can see, and he holds his hands up in splendor, and just to quickly check, other than Severin, who does speak Thebronic here? Yep, let me know. Anybody else? So Nicholas, and that's it.
I'm afraid I don't have Askell's sheet, so I'm not sure.
I think Askell speaks a bit.
Jada's just level 2.
Okay, so Jada, you pick up a few words of this. Nicholas, you pick up some, and Severin, and Teddy.
Level 8.
Okay, yep. So he is definitely welcoming and ingratiating. He says, and he's referring to his chambers. As you can see here, I trade in all manner of things. Please display to me what you have to offer. And GM would like, please, for you to go through the list of the items that you wish to sell. One quick question. Are you planning to sell any of the 16 tablets, land tablets?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, cool. That's easy. Great. So what are you selling, please?
Now, I've pasted into the chat what I think we're selling.
Okay.
What I'm not clear on is the staff, just in case.
Okay.
No, Pete, are you sort of, no? Okay.
Okay. What I'd like you to do is just go through each item, starting with the ring at the top with the motif, and just tell me whether you're selling it or not selling it. So starting with the ring, pouring the motif. No. Okay. Cool. The next one is you didn't take the eye sculpture. The next one is the spectacle of translation.
The what, sorry?
The spectacles of translation.
Oh no, we're keeping those.
Cool. The battle totem, I'm assuming you're keeping.
Keeping.
The gauntlets.
Keeping.
Cool. The black swirling liquid.
Keeping.
Cute. The staff,
Selling.
selling, great. The +10 magical dagger,
Keeping.
keeping.
If anybody disagrees with any of this, by the way, shout out, but I think I've got it right.
Yep. The leather coat,
Keeping.
cool. The mirror of wish revealing,
Keeping.
keeping. Hang on, sorry. You're keeping the staff. You said keeping the dagger, keeping the coat, keeping the mirror. The slippers of dancing.
Selling. So the 4, we're selling 4 of the magical items. The
Okay,
longbow,
so
the staff.
I'm just going through each one. Yep.
Right,
So the slippers you're selling.
Yep.
Yep. The amulet.
Keeping.
Cool. The bow.
Selling.
Cool. The ring of left hand.
Keeping.
Cool. The dagger of long strokes.
Keeping.
Keeping. Cool. The bronze ingots.
Selling.
Selling. The golden masks.
Selling.
And you have all of the ingots and all of the masks, is that right?
Let me just check. Yes.
Okay. Thank you. All of the silver daggers.
Yes.
Okay. And you're selling them, I'm assuming.
Yes.
Okay. The ebony statuettes. There are.
Yeah.
Yep, you're selling them, and you're selling all of them.
Yep.
Okay. The jade dragons.
Selling all of those. 7 of those. Yep.
7. Okay. And then the amulets with the amber. Selling all of those.
All 8 of those. Yep.
Cool. Did you definitely take all of the ingots?
The ingots, no. So there were 20 of them.
Yes,
But they weighed 8 pounds each.
they did.
So they were rather heavy. So we were carrying, hang on a second, 6 8s, 48. 6.
6.
Hang on. 6. Oh no, Yotto. Yeah, so Yotto. Oh no, Askell was carrying those. Yeah, 6 of those.
6 of those. Thank you. Lovely. Super. So, just to recap, selling the amulets with the items inside, all of them. The jade dragons figurines, selling all of those. The ebony statues of the panthers, all of those. All of the silver daggers. You didn't take the chalices from memory.
No.
The ingots, just the number you talked about, 6. You're
Yep.
also selling the bow, slippers, and I think that's it.
Scimitar and staff.
The scimitar and the staff. Okay. You are selling the staff?
Yep.
Okay.
That's all in the. I posted all that in the chat. The only
Yep,
thing that's
yep.
incorrect about it is the number of
Yep.
ingots.
Yep. So, not possible for me to look at the chat at the moment.
Oh, okay. No, all good.
Selling the staff. Cool. And the scimitar, yeah?
Yep.
Cool.
4 items.
Very good. Okay. So,
I was wondering.
just a second. Just 1 second, please. Okay, cool. I've got a final price. Yes, you're wondering.
I was wondering whether it would be worth Severin doing a sort of charming demonstration of each of the items, like he's, holding them up for the light and giving
Sure,
elaborate
yeah.
descriptions of each one. Do you know what I mean? And then Yotto sort of doing the negotiation on price.
Sure. Yep. Julie do so. So you've talked, and this has taken all day. Each item, each discussion, going over its merits, all the rest of it, and no pressure here, Yotto. But we are going to go to a trading roll. He does switch to, of all things, Sindarin, which you speak, and you do have some kind of trading. I'd like you to make a mast trading roll, and not to put too fine a point on it, but hope it's a good one.
Well, it's masked.
Give me a roll.
He's hoping. Being in the middle. 50.
50. Okay. Okay. What is your skill, please?
45.
Plus 45. Okay. Okay. So I'm just going to ditch those drums for a second. Drums are gone. So there's a lot of discussion and umming and ahhing, and there's a lot of cups of tea. Food is brought in, and by the way, you're all standing around this table here, and all the items that you have for sale are arrayed around this table. And your counterpart, your rival, your opponent is probably the best word. Damari. God, why do I never make the names easier? Damariron is his name. Damariron, you get almost the sense, Yotto, that he's enjoying this. He and you have been speaking for hours, and you'll pick up an item and he'll discuss how amazing it is and how you think you should get. You of course actually have no idea what the prices are because you don't have an appraisal skill, but you're making numbers up, and he is constantly sitting there pointing out flaws and all the rest of it, and little bit by little bit you begin to come in on a price, or he begins to come in on a price. After a day of discussion, he sits back and says, so we've talked. My final price, my final price, 9,226 gold. Take it or leave it.
So I think what Yoda would want to do is to take 2 minutes, like I'm sure he's done over and over again during the course of the day.
Sure.
Thank him profusely, obviously, to discuss with the crew in private.
Okay.
There must be a place we can talk in private.
Yep, sure. Yep.
Thoughts, folks?
I think we're just wanting to get money, and we're not wanting to. I don't really care about the best deal. 9,000 gold's a lot.
I don't think we look too happy, right? We kind of like, oh, we'll shake our head. You cut my throat.
all of that. But Nicholas's feeling is that we just take the money and go. But absolutely do the game of. Yeah.
Whatever you think, Yotto. This is your gig. So.
Yeah, I think that sounds like a good plan. I think we should do that. Yep. Okay. So he'll go back to the guy with the unpronounceable name.
Dalmarion.
It's peculiarly like somebody from the other game I know well. And we'll, tell him in flowery terms that he's robbing him blind, and he knows he is, and he knows he's in a position of power.
I've got an aging grandmother, and she needs medication. Yep.
That's right. Looking forward to doing trades again. He needs to remember this because we're banking one for next time we come back. Rah. And we'll make the trade.
Oh, okay. One thing. It might be useful for us to receive payment or is this risky in terms of getting payment in gems? Although we're more likely to be.
No, we want payment gold. I think cold hard cash, right?
Yeah, but
None of us have, unless any of us have a capacity to be absolutely certain the gems are what they say they are.
Okay.
Yeah, but the trouble is, about so much gold, we won't be able to carry it.
Yeah. So on that, by the way, I've got an answer for you. Funny enough. So there's a standard amount of how much they weigh. Coins weigh. Coming. Here we go. Coins have a uniform 1/4 ounce weight. 100 coins weighs 1.5 pounds. So 9,000. Someone do the maths. 9,226 gold pieces is how much in pounds, please?
Sorry, run me the numbers past again.
So each 100 coins equals 1.5 pounds. You have 9,226 coins.
138 pounds. It's about 65 kilos. And there's how many? There's 6 of us, right?
Yep.
So it's 12 kilos in gold each, 23 pounds each.
Is there a bigger denomination?
Good question.
Yes, there is. There is a mithril piece, which is worth 100 gold pieces.
Well, that will take us from 23 pounds per person to 0.2 of a pound per person.
I reckon not everywhere might accept mithril pieces. Well, do we understand what the
Yes, a common one of the absolutely in this game and in a lot of games, one of the hand wavy elements is coins. It just gets way too complex to mix it up. Yes, all of your characters would be familiar with mithril piece. They are uncommon. So walking into, how many mithril pieces would there be in Ras Garrett, for example? Not many, probably.
Gold pieces, right? It's like a gazillion tin or something.
Yeah, so we don't want it all in mithril pieces, but if we would reduce the weight significantly, if we took a few each. Yeah.
Well,
70-30?
to be honest,
mithril?
we've got change already, right? We're already carrying change.
True.
So the only person who needs money is Yotto, who hasn't got any, hardly at all. So you might want to take, sake of argument, 200 or 300 gold pieces in your share, Yotto. But I suspect the rest of us would probably be a lot better if we just took it in mithril, right? Because I think the rest of us have got enough gold to be for transactional purposes.
And if and to be sort of fair, if we're going to be spending the amount of gold that we've got in mithril, it's going to be in a place that will accept mithril. You'd assume.
Yeah, that's an easy way to carry it, right? At risk,
if it's available for us to get it in mithril, Nicholas would like his share in mithril.
Okay.
Some of my characters.
Okay. So this is I think I have belabored the point already. This is a very wealthy part of the world. There is utterly no problem, and from Dalmatian's point of view, this is you get the sense, by the way, after the deal's been done and all the rest of it, you kind of get the sense that this is a bit of fun for him. This isn't a serious deal. It's not real money after all. So the fact that you wanted mithril pieces or gold is absolutely fine as far as he's concerned.
Why don't we take 9,000 in mithril, because presumably you can't divide 226 into that, and then we'll take 226 as gold.
Sure. He's happy with that.
So
just 1 second.
Let's just write that in the sheet. What was the total again? Sorry.
The grand total.
Yeah.
Sorry, Giles, go for it.
226 gold.
Sorry, can you say again?
226 gold.
Yeah.
In 90 mithril, which is the
90.
equivalent of 9,000 gold.
Okay.
The one other item. So your business is concluded with Dalmarion, and he smiles and he gives you a wink, Yotto, as though good, well done. You get the fact he was it's just toying with you, really. If he really wanted to put on his trading chops for a serious deal, you think you'd know about it. It'd make you sweat. But you went through your paces with that. Definitely, Yotto, you're kind of breathing heavily and okay. He kind of claps you on the back and, this one's on me, kind of, and escorts you from the premises. You probably one other item, and the GM is happy to give you a freebie on this in case you didn't remember. The one other item that you were keen to find in a larger settlement was whey bread. The predominance of the city by far and away is this blend of human, either Thebronic people, taller, typically looking more like Demos, or the slightly broader Pisanians, but there are the occasional non-human species here, including elves, and that does allow you to find somewhere to purchase whey bread. You can purchase whey bread via your companion at a city cost. It takes you another day to do that, and any other items you may wish to purchase in the city. Anything else you're wanting to do here before you make your trip back to Ras Garrett? Assuming you're going back to Ras Garrett or somewhere else.
I think we talked about going to a place of learning for for some mappage.
Mm-hmm. So this gentleman informs you he can't easily get you into somewhere. He's used all the strings he can, and in the short amount of time that you wanted to be here, possibly if you waited a couple of weeks, he could get you into one of the seats of learning here. But they are highly restricted.
Yeah, no worries. Don't think we need to pursue that. That was just a bonus. I think we, apart from if we have sundry shopping that we would just do as part of our Ras Garrett shopping sort of thing. Does that make sense?
Mm-hmm.
And to communicate to you, I reckon we're good to go.
Anybody else?
No, I think that's all right. I think we've got the food. We've got, what else could we possibly want? Unless we haven't really got time, have we, to start shopping for anything more serious? So
we've got food. Chris has given us time to shop for mundane items that we couldn't find in Ras Garrett, so we just want to bail. And we've got the whey breed.
Okay. Going once. Going
Anything
twice.
from Stara?
Anything from Sarah? Yep. Thanks, Pete.
All right.
Hello, Sarah. So you come on and off mic.
Oh, yeah, no, all good here.
Okay. Very good. So look, a rinse and repeat of your journey back. You depart beautiful, and it is beautiful, Jebai Ionia. You head back to Ionia itself, and your host takes a little bit longer. Takes in total 5 days on the way back. So you spent 2 days in Jebai Ionia, and then 5 days on your way back, having to wait, and Leader spent some time having to organize things. There was other travelers and other things happening. So you find yourself back in Ras Garrett. And in the hospitality of Maisie and her companion Yorin, back in Ras Garrett. I'm just going to do a quick calculation of time. You spent 2 days you left there. South. They travel. Arrive. Ionia. Shop. Leave. Ionia. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. It is the 13th. The 13th of New Year is the month that you arrive back in Ras Garrett. Your purse is significantly heavier, with a wodge of cash. You are greeted with some good news. Maisie has been able to locate some guides, and you can leave at your discretion. You'd also, yes, and she has located some guides, and also some pack animals. So, how many either mules or donkeys were you wanting?
Well, actually, the reason for the pack animals is if we didn't get lightweight food. So if we can carry our own food, I don't think we have a need for it, unless we want to take extra food on the pack animals, but probably not. They'll just slow us down, right?
Sure.
Just as an aside, I've totted up all that wealth, and it's in the on the XP sheet.
Okay. Some more information when you come back. There's still no sign of Outlander. She has gone.
Sconded. Right. Okay. Well, obviously Severin's sad about that, but 2 o'clock is ticking. So, what do you think, guys? Just head off, yeah? Next morning?
Yes, can I just check one thing? Sorry, and I sort of got to ask earlier. We were going to talk to the families of our previous guides.
Yes, thank you. Yes, I forgot to do that. Yes.
Once, and I just say, and that could be a conversation for next time. But Nicholas would want to put to the group. He would think it would be reasonable for us to make a commitment to investigate the campsite and try and, as we're going past that area again, he would want to reassure the families that we'll look into, do a little bit more investigating about what their fate might have been. We don't need to commit a huge amount of time to that, but I think he thinks it's a decent thing to do. And also
sure, and I think absolutely, and I think we'd be at pains to say that we tried to ask at the village about them, and we had arrows shot at us.
Yeah,
so we did our best to try and find out. We looked for tracks, tried to see which direction they might have gone in. And just explain that we saw the fire, saw that it had been burned a few days before, we thought. But we couldn't make any head and tail of which direction they'd gone in, and the locals didn't seem to know.
Okay, so let's actually pick up that. That should have happened previously. I'd forgot to pick that up, so apologies for that. Let's aim to pick that up next time. And from Maisie's point of view, she has made all the preparations necessary. You've had ample time in both Ras Garrett and enough time elsewhere to pick up any relatively mundane items. Please pop them into the sheet, and we can begin with round 2 of going back to the Vale of Whispers on the 14th, on Fire Day, the 14th of New Year's, on our next session. You guys didn't have enough first time round? You want to go back?
The word sucker in punishment spring to mind. I mean, maybe we need some long, sticky, woven killing things before we leave too, actually. But
are we going to close it there? Anything else before I go to credits?
Oh, there was. It's probably just too late now, isn't it? I was just going to suggest that while we're in that big room with that bloke, we could have asked him what other items he had there, but
gone.
Yeah.
Nothing else. Okay, right. Faring well in Ras Garrett. We're into credits.
Cool.
Gear sold, fully equipped, lots of food. Well, lots. You've got a month worth of food, and you are ready for round 2.
Brilliant.
Yeah.
Thank you.
An admin episode,
An admin episode.
but very necessary.
Yeah, I'd say, by the way, to Yotto in particular, with that kind of money, it's possible to obviously have your own magic items made, but it takes a long time. We wouldn't have time to do that, but were your adventures to go beyond this one, and we had a spare month or something, you could have an item made.
It's definitely worth remembering, yeah.
Cool. Game over.